Hey, what's going on, guys? How you doing? Good evening. Thank you very much for joining me for Cocktails with Chello, episode 30. So here we go. You got 1, 2, 3. 30 episodes. Can you believe that, guys? Thank you very much for joining me. I'm pretty excited. We already have the backstage backpack or backstage packed, something like that. Either way, we're gonna have a great one. So I want to let you guys know before we get started, all opinions are solely my own and do not reflect the opinions of my employer. The reason why I bring that up is that I work for the second largest recycling and waste company in the nation. Hey, and if we haven't met before, hey, how you doing? My name is Marcello Arcele. I provide recycling and waste services for companies right here in Metro Atlanta. So if you're a small, medium, and even large organization that's building mattresses, distributing candy, I'm your guy. So if you need my help or know someone that does, give me a call at 678-683-9136. So let me know what part of if you're team live, let me know in the comments. Hashtag team live. If you watch me in a replay, we love you. So definitely let me know if you're watching a replay as well. What part of the world are you watching me from? New York City, not city, city, Atlanta, Georgia, and here it comes. Say it with me, Bangladesh. Be sure to join the conversation in the comments. I definitely want to get you guys insight and share your thoughts in what some of the panelists are going to be sharing, and also the watch party today, which is going to be, the title is, should B2B representatives create content? And if you are in sales or you have a product or solution that you're passionate about, the answer is yes. So we can have a discussion about that while we watch the discussion from Will and Sam. Now, and we're going to be answering questions throughout the show. So be sure to share your thoughts there. And also share this stream with your friends and family. Definitely want to get the conversation going as well. And if you hear something you like, don't be shy. Share. Just click the reaction there so we can keep going. All right. So guys, tell me, may have folks join me in the meantime, and we start going forth. So let me bring you folks in here. I got my dude all the way from representing the Pats. What's going on, dude? How we doing, Patrick?
Cello, my man, I'm very excited to be here. I've been watching you from the very beginning, so congratulations on number 30. It's an exciting day. I'm fun to be here.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the warm feelings. I appreciate. I definitely get that from you. And go Pats until you play the Giants. You know that. You already know what happened the last time we did that in Super Bowl.
Oh, let's not talk about that.
All right. And I got my dude Chris. What's going on? How we doing today, sir?
We're doing all right, Marcello. Happy Dirty 30.
Thank you. 30. I like that. Yeah, 30. I like that. I feel that. Thank you. I appreciate that. And I got my dude, Tony Alexander, is in the house. This guy, the recruiting master. What's going on, baby? I can't hear you. I see you moving your hands. What's going on? Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, there we go. How can I beat those introductions there? So I'm just
man, come on, man. You're the best. Okay. I mean,
man,
forget about the rest. You're the best. You know what I mean? You got a warm spot in my heart right here.
Oh, man.
Good nuggets to the point that it's one of my most viewed show, and you was able to get some good opportunities from that as well. So,
sure. Well, look, congratulations on your Dirty 30. With more to come, I'm looking forward to what 2021 is going to bring for Cocktails with Chello, and
thank you.
And I'm looking forward to being a part of this ride for the next year. So congratulations, man.
I appreciate that. And now, you can't continue your show without my Latino lover. He's in the house, baby. Martin, all the way from Florida. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. Doing great.
And the best part is that tú no eres el único Latino aquí. Tengo señor Enrique.
Anda.
What's going on, sir?
What's going on? Hey, that's right, New York, but here in Orlando. So representing the NYC and Cello. I'm a Giants fan as well. So
yeah.
And look, all right, guys, whatever.
Yeah.
We don't talk about the Giants, all right, man?
Hey, no, but given we're talking about NFC,
that helmet, all right?
My dude from Dallas, Yeah, he's repping
David
Dallas.
Tyree, man.
He's repping Dallas hard. No matter
Oh
what.
my gosh, man! I'm gonna have to hear it, man. I hear
Yeah,
I hear the Giants. I hear the Patriots.
I heard today
Yeah.
that the Dallas got pushed out from Sunday night and
Yeah.
next week, and they're gonna be doing 1:00. And who's gonna be doing Sunday night? Giants.
Who would have
Yeah.
thought, man?
Oh, I got a thumbs down. That's not good from Marissa from Cali. That's what's going on. That's not good, Marissa. Why
I think is it for me?
I think it's the Giants.
Can you hear me?
I hear you. It's a little bit low.
Okay, I will
You
try
know
to
what?
work on that.
Everybody's repping, so I'm gonna take out of the spirit here.
Oh, here you go. And start flexing. There you go.
The real football is played with your feet. Let's
I
say
love
that.
it. Start flexing. I love it. I love it. And I as I see the biggest smile right here. This is the good gut guy. Everybody know about the good gut guys in the house. What's going on, Clark? How you doing, sir?
Hey, great, man. Glad to be here. Thanks for having me. This is going to be a lot of fun. I love this.
You already know it's going to be pretty good. I'm already pretty geeked up already as it is. and now you guys got to be nice. This is the first time we got this person on it. We chatted, we connected via podcast, which is the Advanced Selling Podcast. If you guys are in sales, definitely it's one of great podcasts you should tune into. But Chad and I connected since then, and we talked it off and on, and he's going to be sharing some information, some details of his upcoming webinar, and I'm going to bring him on. He can share. What's going on, Chad?
What's going on, man? It's good to hear your voice again.
Yeah, man. Thank you very much for joining us, man. I haven't seen you in a minute.
It has been a minute. You have grown so much. Look at all y'all. This is great. I can't believe it. It's come to fruition, man.
Yeah, I told you. I mean, it's just like anything. Just a little bit. Just working together, and should be fine. So Marissa said she had to come back. She had to check her mic, so she'll be right back. Now, before we move forward, let's see here what we got in the comment wise. We got my dude Chris, team live and replay. You gotta love that double duty. Marissa, she stepped away, but she's with us. Samantha, what's going on? What's good?
What's up,
in the beginning. Yes, you got to protect your job status. No question about that. And many people that have been watching from the beginning know that my company is like, nah, I don't really want you to do much of talking about waste and recycling because they don't want the message to be fragmented. So that's why I put that disclaimer there just to avoid any misunderstandings. And we got Samantha Glover. She's coming away from California. Team happy. I like that. What's going on, senor? And my dude Daryl is in the house. The guy with the bow tie. He's taking a month off, but he's hanging in there with me. So I appreciate that. And I see here, full house with the ass. Yeah, man. Notorious BTG is in the house. All right, guys. So let's see here. Let me ask you this now. Before we go into the watch party, let me give you guys about a couple minutes to share with you guys because this has always been a networking show. Many people know that Cocktails with Chello started just like this. Everybody just started coming on and started talking and sharing, and then next thing you know, we have an organic conversation started. I have an opportunity to go back to that briefly, and then we go into the watch party that we're going to be watching of Will and also Sam talking about or debating the topic of should B2B reps or people in sales create content. So I'm going to start from right to left. I got my dude right here, Patrick. Patrick, talk to me, dude. Share with folks a little bit about yourself. Keep it anywhere between 1 to 2 minutes. And also, I want you to share with folks a video that you posted several weeks ago, which I'm not going to talk about how it ends, but definitely want you to share that in the link, and you'll also give folks a teaser.
All right. Well, I'll go ahead. I had that link preloaded, so I will go ahead and put that link in the private chat. I don't know what happens from there.
Yeah, no worries. I'll put it in the public chat.
All right. Thank you. So again, as Chello said, my name is Patrick Lewis. I am the vice president for Way Beyond Measure, and Way Beyond Measure is a nonprofit focused on character development, but starting at like a very, very young age. K-5 is our focus right now. My man, Coach Verdue, David Verdue, has been doing this. He and his wife have been doing it for over a decade now. But when the pandemic hit, it was a transition to going from in-school assemblies to making this online so that kids can still get to see their, the character development program. And I got brought on back in probably June or July. This is like my fourth career change. I tried med school, tried PA school, it didn't work. I just wanted to help people, and now Way Beyond Measure gives me that opportunity to get out there and help people, because I was actually hit by a car when I was 5. So I, growing up, been through the ringer, all of that. But I just want to be able to get out there, use my voice to let kids know that there's always tomorrow. And the link that Chello asked me to share is actually a story that I recently was given to me by my mom that my grandfather wrote in 1992 about my accident. I was hit in 1991 by a car, and I actually didn't know this story existed until about a year ago. So when I, over the past year, as I've gotten more comfortable online, I decided I would share that. And so it's my story.
No, thank you. I appreciate that. I see that we trying to get someone else on the panel, so I'll let you guys know. Hang in there tight. We'll be able to rotate out, so I just want to let you guys know. And you can share, whoever wants to come live, just share it in the live stream, and then I'll know to get you on shortly. So thank you very much for sharing that, Pat. And also the link that Marissa, that you shared in a private chat, I posted it in the live chat right now, so then people could actually see that in the comments. Now let me go to the bottom corner, my dude Enrique. We've talked quite a bit, not in person, but we talked it through the comments, and that's what Daryl's always said. That's how him and I met. We met through the comments, and the same thing with Enrique. We met through the comments, and I want to give an opportunity to give Enrique an opportunity to show off his beautiful studio. And also tell about what you're working on and how should folks connect with you here on LinkedIn.
Yeah, thanks, Chello, for the opportunity to be part of this gathering. I'm Enrique Acosta-Gonzalez. I am the CEO of Triad Leadership Solutions, and I focus on getting people unstuck in leadership. I shared my story not too long ago, as a matter of fact, yesterday, about my why. And so if you go on my feed, you'll find that. But LinkedIn is where I live, so you'll be able to find me there, Enrique Acosta-Gonzalez, and I'll share the link to my profile. But just happy to be here, and you alluded to the comments, right? The life happens in the comments. It's one thing to make a post and and share your views, but the real life happens in the comments, and that's where we found each other. So I'll connect with everyone before we're done. But happy to be here.
Sure. I appreciate that. And now before I move forward, I definitely want to give a shout out to my dude, Mr. Sugarland is in the house. I don't see your comment that came through, but I see it's my dude, Kenny from Sugarland, Texas. Who's going on? I see Kat is in the house. Hey, Kat, thank you very much for the love. Thank you very much for stopping by. I appreciate that. And I got my lady right here is going down in the comments, is going down. So, Marissa, I know that you have a hard stop, so I want to give you an opportunity to share with folks. I know there's a post that you did recently, and let folks know about that post and why should folks join there, and also how you help others here on LinkedIn, please.
Hi, everyone. My name is Marissa Callie. If you don't already know me, I know a few people already on the stream and in the comments. Kat, Daryl, hi, Gabe, obviously on the stream. Thank you, Chello, for inviting me. I am a live stream producer and LinkedIn content strategist. So what does that mean? I help you show up, be prepared, and be present for your live stream. I'm also, what Chello said about my post, if it's in the comments, but I am grateful to be in this position to be able to give away a free year of StreamYard this holiday season. So Yeah, a full year paid. It's a basic plan, so it's worth like I think $240. And all you have to do is just give me your name and email and your blood type and your social security number and maybe your PIN. No, anyways, name, email, and
I do have a blood type, so I do.
Got to do some testing for the vaccine, so I got to start collecting all your stuff,
That's awesome. I appreciate that. No,
I gotta sign up.
Yeah, you definitely have to sign up. Yeah, Gabe. Mind you, I know we've been on Restream hard, and then I'm back on StreamYard.
Welcome back.
Yeah, I know. Thank you.
Welcome back.
Some glitches with StreamYard, and I'm sure it was my computer. Let's go with that because they were outstanding. So now let me ask you now. Next person I want to bring on Chad. Chad, I want you to tell folks what you've been doing. I saw there was something different in your profile since the last time we spoke. So I definitely want you to give some insight on that and some details of your upcoming webinar next month.
Yeah. So thanks. Appreciate the opportunity to speak here. My name's Chad Neace. I work with a company here called Neace, and we are a NetSuite solution partner provider. And without going into the details of what that all is, I'd rather speak on why I'm here today. And that's just to kind of, the whole conversation of should business-to-business people have a personal brand. That's what I'm looking to kind of have more of a conversation about, and that's what I'm looking to build here. Starting at the 29th of January, I'm gonna start having my own conversation at least monthly to start. If I like it as much as I'm liking this today, I might have to do it a little more often. This is really cool.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much. And before we move forward, I may go back into the chats. And I see Nick is in the house. Nick, this dude is rocking all the way from DC. Thank you very much for coming through. Daryl, this should be 1 million. I would agree with that 110%. And again, Sugarland, Texas is in the house. He know the right thing. He know that Giants did it to them twice. Hey, I ain't saying he said it.
Man,
he gets given a shout out.
Hammered early.
Hey, we're hammering you up early. Don't worry about that. He's giving a shout out to my lady Marissa, and as I said before, she giving me some love. So thank you very much for that. Look at that. Hey, Marissa, crazy girl. That's your lady. Cat is in the house, and then said we need more girls on. They rule. Hey. I would agree with that. We're definitely going to have an opportunity to have some more folks on the show as well. So now, next up that I want to bring on, I got my duty at Clark. Clark, tell folks about yourself. How did you become the good gut guy? And also, why should some folks connect with you here on LinkedIn?
Old Triple G. Listen, that came from, as we talked about before. I got a chance to meet Chello via the show. And listen, I connected well with the show. I thought, he thought I was calling it a train wreck. It's such a free-flowing show. And lively conversation. I was like, man, this is so cool, man. And I'm in Texas, so, it's always this hour time difference. I really got to kind of hustle around. I'm usually catching the last 30, 40 minutes of the show. But it's really a fun time. So myself, I'm a full-time CFO and consultant. And I've also have, my own podcast, Coffee with Clark. So a lot of you have seen the snippets I put out here on LinkedIn. And, we do a variety of things. We do educational, we do entertainment on the podcast. But really, it's about that networking. And I can't agree enough with how Chello puts it. You can start by meeting someone in the comment section and just grow it from there. But touching base with your LinkedIn tribe, your community, is so important. So I think that, what we're doing here is just, again, a start of a lot more to come. But it's a great time to be here. I've enjoyed it, Chello, and it's not a train wreck. It's a lot of fun.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I guess I just translated when you said free flow. I'm like, it was just going with the flow. But I appreciate the compliment. I know it comes from a good gut. So I appreciate that.
Triple G.
Yeah, Triple G's in the house. Okay. So I know Tony also has a heart out as well. So Tony, tell folks about what you've been working on.
Definitely. First, I want to thank you just for the opportunity and the visibility of this show. So as we spoke about earlier, hey, things happens in the comments. And so Tello and I did a series, about a 3 or 4 part series that actually brought into my HR consulting firm about 6 actually conversion clients that actually closed paid deals. So I definitely want to thank you for that visibility and exposure. But what I do is I'm the COO of SGI Services. And what I do there is I'm actually a employment law attorney where I do or specialize, of course, in employment law, talent management, as well as scaling businesses up for the future. With that, Cello has been phenomenal with just giving me the platform and visibility, and then just being able to network with everybody like the gut guy, right? So Cello, I definitely want to thank you for that, and
You're welcome.
I'm glad to be here, man. I'm extremely excited and look forward again to a great show in 2021 going forward.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I want to bring my other Texas fellow right here, Gabe. This guy, if you guys don't know Gabe, shame on you.
Right?
Shame on you. You
Shame on
definitely
you.
connect with Gabe Neal. This guy, I don't know how he manages to work 5 full-time jobs and has multiple. It seems like he has 5 jobs, and because he's always busy. Whenever I talk to him offline, he's always like in a truck. He's moving around. He's never busy. He's never sitting down. And then he manages to do all these shows. He remote produce.
Oh my
I
God.
don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a busy dude. So
He's
Gabe,
always podcasting.
yeah, I would agree. Gabe, tell him what 5 things you're doing tonight, and you here on LinkedIn. Please.
Okay. Well, pretty much. I actually did a remote producer show for Chantel Sumis and Jason Leibowitz. So I do that during the day. I did that earlier. Mm-hmm. Then I was supposed to hop on a live with Reggie Waterman. Miscommunication, all my fault. I'm apologizing live. So if he gets to see this, I'll tag him in it later on. But I missed it. Totally botched the time zones. So that one was on me. That doesn't happen very often. But then I'm hopping on here with you, Cello. And then in about an hour, I got to go live myself. So I'm going to finish here and as long as I can, and then go live for myself. So I do a live show 5 nights a week, and on top of that, I have a full-time job. I have 4 kids, 4 dogs, a wife, and then on top of that, I've started doing graphic design for business. And I've also started doing creating video, like video production, to do like instructional videos and doing classes on how to teach people on some of the things that I've already learned how to do over this time. So I'm putting all this stuff together, and I'm also putting together these like huge roundtables to kind of tackle a lot of events. So somebody had mentioned earlier about women need to be on here more. So all next month, that's what I'm going to be concentrating on a lot. Is having a lot of roundtables centered towards women in business, business mothers, entrepreneurs. So that's going to be a whole thing that we're going to be the theme of next month, putting that together, because we're on the verge of something very important here. Next month on January 20th, we will have our first female vice president inaugurated into the second highest position of power in this country. So I think that's a pretty big deal, and I wanted to celebrate it by highlighting a lot of special women out there who are doing a lot of great things. So that's been my focus so far. And of course, I'm like Marcello here. I love just having some of these free flow conversations as well. So it's pretty great to see the opportunities that you get whenever you connect with people. And this is how I've met with a lot of these people here, was just connection, and especially on a platform like LinkedIn. It's such a great place to find interesting people. And that's a lot of the times where I find who I bring on, how I bring on people, and what I kind of tailor a lot of the content that I create. So yes, it's a really great place to be, and I'm I'm pretty much just happy to be here. So yeah, ladies, I'm putting it out there. If you want to reach out to me, send a direct message. Let me know. I will be posting the last week of December what 4 roundtables I will be having on there.
Yeah, she's already saying thanks for everybody. She said it.
She said it. Well, we're going to manifest it. So yeah, I will be putting it out there because again, I think it's really important. So yes, that's what I've been up to, man. And I find that this is my passion in life, man. So sometimes you put a duck in water and they just know how to swim. That's how it was for me. Put me to doing this. So next year, 2021 will be a very huge year as far as what I plan to do.
Yeah, you're going to do good. I know that for a fact. All right, guys. I know that now we're top of the hour, 2 minutes to 8 o'clock. I know there's a couple of folks that has some heart out. I know, Marissa, you have a heart out. Who else has a heart out? Anyone else? Oh, you do, right, Tony? Okay, so I'll let you guys both to bow out. Tony, thank you very much for coming through. Marissa, thank you very much for stopping by. I thank you.
I'm going to be reaching out to you, Marissa.
You better.
Yeah.
You hear that, right?
And that didn't sound like an option now.
No, you don't have an option. You have to.
No options. Bye, everyone. Nice meeting you all.
Bye, Marissa.
Bye, Marissa. Great meeting you. All right, so guys, I as you can tell, we have 2 open slots. In the meantime, Tony, take care. If anyone wants to join us, we got 2 open slots in the meantime before we go into the watch party. And now, I'm not sure if you guys know, but I got my guy. If you need a bodyguard or you need to be protected from any, somebody that's gonna shoot you, or you need some gear to, if you live that kind of shitty life and you need protection, yeah, you see that, Mr.
Okay.
Martin is your guy. Martin, tell folks why I'm saying that you are the protection guy.
He's saying that because one of my businesses bulletproof clothing. So for like discreet everyday bulletproof or ballistic resistant is the way that they call this, ballistic resistant clothing. So that's why Marcello is saying that. So we have from winter jackets, hoodies, backpacks, you name it. For there are level 3A ballistic resistant clothing. So that's one of the things that I do. Getting that.
What's the other thing that
baby
you do?
up.
Do you do anything with different languages, possibly?
Yes, and that we just launched on that
This guy
particular.
Chris is smiling
other
like, all right,
business
that's a big lead right there. I see Chris laughing like, yeah, he's leading him. I'm leading him. Yes, I'm leading him. Go ahead.
Oh my God, language service.
Hold on a second.
for all
Look,
kinds-
Senor's asking if you got bulletproof bibs.
I do.
Oh,
I do. I have, and we have bulletproof mask. You're gonna look like what is it, Jason?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna look like him, but they're bulletproof. So that we have.
Go ahead. Let me let you finish about the translation service.
But the other business is interpreting and translation service for all type of business. If you have a call center, if you have a Salesforce, like the topic that we're going to be talking today, or Marcello's going to be talking with all of you guys, if you have a Salesforce that needs to communicate with a customer or possible customer from that speaks another language, we facilitate that communication between the business and the possible customer. So, or even if they're a customer and tech support, if you don't want that person to keep calling back for the same issue because he doesn't understand what you're saying, then we provide, of course, language service so the communication is clear and effective, and it produces more retention and then more sales to close, and they just facilitate communication in all aspects. We just launched our new website, which is absolutely phenomenal.
Please, and in the live chat, not in the private chat, but in the live chat at LinkedIn, put a link to your website as well. Now, add what Martin said, and anybody who's in sales or runs a business understands that retaining customers is crucial. Getting a new customer any kind of business, it costs significantly more money. So obviously the key thing, like he's saying, if you have a customer that's already a paying customer, you definitely want to keep them and make sure that the friction level is reduced if they're calling in for whatever support they require. So one more thing, I got my dude right here. He's the AKA the big green piece on the board. Yeah, and he can tell you more about that. Chris, tell us what you've been working on and how can folks help you to make sure that you have a successful 2021, sir?
Sure. So thanks for reminding me about the big green Lego piece, Marcello. Totally forgot about that. So my name is Chris Rouse, aka the big green Lego piece, aka the guy who can fix your car, aka the guy who can get you whatever you need for your business for cheaper. So I've got my hands in a bunch of different things. Most recently, though, the thing that I'm focusing on is called Project Carry. It's put up by the Hand in Hand Foundation, and what we've done is created a program to give people who really need that help getting their car fixed, It's estimated that 2 in 3 Americans don't have $500 in their savings account. How many times have you got your car fixed, and how many times has it cost you $500? Right now do that when you're on food stamps or you're on a fixed income or you're really hard up for cash. We're putting together a program that will allow you to have the access to that meaningful car care that it is that you need, because if your car's in good condition, then you can be a better productive member of society. That person then can go get that better job, can connect with somebody like Tony who can help them fix their resume to be more attractive to the job that they want to get, so that they can move forward in life and get off of things like food stamps. Because when you get people off of food stamps, you put more money back into the economy. And that allows you to create a repeatable cycle that enfranchises the masses to become better and to aspire to do great things with their life, instead of aspiring to quote unquote stay in their lane because they only should aspire to do so much.
That's the key thing, that you're doing a noble cause. So I can't thank you enough for that. Thank you very much. Now I know now that we're 8 minutes and for 8:04, does anyone else have a heart out before I transition to something else? I know Gabe, he's doing a lot of stuff. So did you want to transition out just in case, or you can hang out with us a little longer?
No, I'm gonna be till like right up almost till I go live.
Mira para allá. And anybody knows Spanish, un cabroncito. Everybody knows that. You just gotta Google that word and then you figure it out. And I love this dude. Basically what I said in English is a piece of work. That's basically what I said.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
All right, guys. So if you guys are just joining us right now, we started at 7:30. Cocktails with Chello. Today we did a brief retro Cocktails with Chello, and here we have folks sharing with us and with you as well. If you just go back at half an hour, if you're watching a replay or the live show, everyone shared a little bit about what they're doing and ultimately why you should connect with them on LinkedIn. So look in the comments, see their connection, see the information, click to see what they're passionate about, and definitely encourage you to connect and see if there's an opportunity for you guys to work together. Now, next thing we're going to do is that we can do our watch party. What we talked about is watching the podcast from my dude Will and also Sam, and we're going to be watching that show and also debating on why should salespeople or people that have something that want to promote, why should they create content either on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and if you're on this platform, any platform it might be, even Periscope, you know that chances are you have to create the right content. The fact is, how often should you do it, and how does that make sure that message resonates with your ideal client? That's the key thing. So now, given that said, before I go into that, I want to do a round robin and get you guys insight on that topic before I play it. On the bottom, I got to go back to my Yankees right here. Enrique, how do you feel about that topic itself, about creating content to promote what you want to get in front of people so you can convert individuals to potentially a client for life? What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, first of all, man, we sell from the time we're babies, right? Mm-hmm. We're always competing for time. We're always competing for attention. We're selling from day one.
Yep.
So if anybody thinks that, oh, I'm not in sales, yes, you are. But the point of the production or the creation of video or post or whatever medium you want to use to get your word out. Now we're looking at digital age, right? That's just the way it is. You're not going to get the billboard. Look at billboards. They're all digital now, at least where I live. And so it's the digital age because information is shared like this. And then it goes to the masses. So you're missing a great opportunity to get yourself in front of more people in a shorter span of time by not doing it. And so what the traditional form of sales requires is the person to person, a lot of phone calls, a lot of emails, a lot of those things. But you can do one video. I posted a carousel, or some people call it, a swipe or slide or whatever.
Yep.
One slide had 34,000 views. There's no way on earth that I can meet 34,000 people that quick. And it did it, right? So from that, you get a lot of feedback, you get a lot of comments, and then the engagement, like I said before, the life is in the engagement. You don't do it, you're missing out.
That's cool. I appreciate that. Who wants to share their 2 cents on that topic? Who would like to go next? Okay, Chad, what's going on? To share your thoughts on that.
Well, I loved your sentiment on the since you're a baby, you're in sales, right? That is so true. Never thought of that as an introduction into sales before. So I really appreciate that tidbit. But why we should, for like B2B, be making these posts or videos, a lot of the times you got to figure a way to get through the noise, right? We're sending off as a business to business emailer, you tend to get into the spam box, and they don't know that you're a person that's trying to get a hold of them. So they get an opportunity to see your profile, your flavor, your who you are as a human, which is far different than the emails that get thrown out there, and people just are like, it's just an email, I'll get rid of it, or it's just a voicemail. Not a big deal. I don't know who this person is. Don't care for them. This way, when we get out there, it's like, oh, this is a human. This is how they're talking. This is the people they're working with. This is why I want to work with this person.
That's the key thing. I mean, that's the thing, is that just knowing and making sure that you get the right content in front of folks. Think about what Enrique said: 30,000+ views on the post. That's incredible. That's crazy on the swipe. That's crazy. Now, Clark, what do you think? I know you create content on a regular basis. Sure. What's your thoughts on creating content? I mean, mind you, I'm gathering, do you work for a company or do you work for yourself? And that probably could share some thoughts, some insight, and also give your insight on that question, please.
Sure. I work with Tatum. So Tatum is a global consulting firm, and I do a variety of consulting assignments with CFOs. So I've been in the CFO seat at companies as a full-time employee as well. So I've done that for a number of years. But now in consulting, this is kind of a different world for me, but it's one that I really enjoyed. It's starting to pick up more than ever as we enter and come out of this pandemic, where companies, they have to reorganize, restructure, but we can't bring on full-time talent at your level. So we'll just do it as a shorter term, 3, 6, 8 month assignment. But, the biggest key here is that it's building that brand awareness as both a subject matter expertise, and you are promoting kind of your personality, which is on demand. So I like to call it the invisible pitch. You're not pitching, but you're pitching. Yeah. And, we talk about brand versus relationship all the time. So salespeople, when you're out there, you're moving from one firm to another, same industry. First thing that comes to mind, everyone knows this: how's your book of business? Can you bring your book of business with you? Well, that book of business relies on one thing and one thing only: relationships. That's the only reason you can bring the book with you. In a commodity industry, unless there's something unique about the brand, the reason you can bring your book with you is the relationship. So as you go through the whole conversation of, well, this was your customer you brought over 6 months into the game. Actually, a customer belongs to us. Well, I don't know about that. I think it's really still that relationship, and the relationship is built off your brand, not necessarily the badge you wear.
I like what he says so much. I need to bring him next to me. Come over here, Clark. Sit next to me right now.
That's my guy.
I love what he said.
That's my guy.
I mean, mind you, he's I like the patch, but I'm not feeling a pat right now. So I'm feeling what Clark said. I gotta. You know what? I'm gonna give you an
right to the bottom.
Pat, let me give you an opportunity to redeem.
That's okay. You can get it.
What's your thoughts on what the topic is? Should folks, if you're a salesman or a representative of an organization, should you be pitching or not pitching on social media? What's your thoughts on that?
Well, my video that I posted a month ago that you had me post that link for, that was my very first video ever. So I'm finally starting to get that if we want to pitch ourselves and be out there, it is about, like everyone else, has said here so far, it's about being authentic in those videos. And even though I'm not comfortable doing this at all, but I need it's making the 2 videos I posted, the one I posted last month, which was my first video, and I posted another one earlier this week, second video ever, got more traction than any of the posts that I've posted for Way Beyond Measure in the past 6 months. So it's clear that this is where people need to be and what they need to do, because this is a new generation of, I think Enrique said, the digital age of just, you need to be out, either you're in or you're going to do this, you're going to accept it, you're going to get outside your bubble and partake in it, or you're going to get left behind. And I mean, as Chris said, there's no be back, but you can't go back and, be back and do this later. He said that earlier and I liked it. And it's true. Like, you're going to get left behind if you don't do this. And it's about making those personal connections on the day-to-day basis. And people can see that they can't see, like Chad said, in an email or a social media post without the video. People can feel you in those videos like we're doing right now, right here. This is authentic conversation about everything.
Yeah, I think about, like, with the topic 100%. That we're talking about in sales, the stuff that I post on LinkedIn, I post it because either I come across a scenario with a client and I feel that this is going to be something that's going to be repetitive, a question that is going to come up over and over again, or something that I feel that some of my clients, current or future clients, would need to know. So when the question comes up, I must say I'm quite proud to say, well, you know what? I'll send you a link to a post that I did 6 months ago. I'm going to send you a link to a post that I did last year that describes that. Awesome. Now, you tell me, I'm a subject matter expert just like that.
Yeah. Exactly. That's what I say, that doing video builds an authority, right? Mm-hmm. It gets you in front of so many eyes, more than you possibly could with a card, with an email, even with a link.
Yep.
Right? This is it. You're putting yourself front and center, and with or without you knowing, you're building the brand by people knowing this, right? Mm-hmm. People see you and they get familiar with who you are. I mean, it is, to me, it's one of the best things about doing video. I've pushed a lot of people into saying, you know what? Don't think the conventional route. Think outside of the box. You have services like Loom and all these other things where you can just send a quick video message to send somebody instead of sending a text, and it opens up somebody's eyes. Somebody might be a little bit more receptive to that than actually just somebody saying a pitch inside of somebody's DMs. I mean, it's one thing to see that all the time. You're like, oh my gosh, never mind. How many of those have you gotten? Or how many times have you seen just a video on somebody pop up in your thing? You go, well, let me at least click on it. I mean, it gives you the option. That's why I say I draw traffic by using video all the time. So when I invite people to come,
You like video.
Yeah.
You like the video and the email.
I love.
Yeah, I like it too.
I love all that.
Mm-hmm.
I like that stuff too. I said, this is what I do. I create if I want a subject that I want to reach out to a lot of people, and it makes it so much easier, I'll go record a few minute snippet on YouTube, post it on my YouTube channel, get a link, send it to somebody, and that way I can at least see how many people who've gone over there and actually clicked on my link and seen my video. So I drive traffic over there sometimes going, wow. And even it might get somebody to say, you know what? He's got other videos on his channel. Let me check them out. Maybe they have some sort. So it's an instant way to kind of be a little bit more different in your approach of how you reach somebody. That's why I say in the digital age, you have to be innovative in how you approach reaching clients. So, man, if that's anything else, I mean, me and Chello had this conversation on the phone call before about a dude just dropping his card there, where I've seen people who create UPCs where they can just go scan it, a QO, a sticker almost, and put it right there. Hey, you scan this on the phone. It draws more interest with somebody saying, "Oh, let me just open it up and see what happens." It can click you to a video. It can click you to whatever. It can to an introduction, and it's different. I mean, and guess what? If it doesn't work, you can always go print business cards and go back to status quo. But my thing is, why not at least take the opportunity to jump at something and say, you know what? Who knows what it can actually do for me? What kind of doors it might open for me? It might reach out to somebody and say, this guy's different. I want to have a conversation with him.
Dude,
You know?
when you say that, I think about earlier today, I was visiting one of my new clients there. It's a company called Scott's, and they do products for people's lawns. So they had a new location. So this is actually the text that when I stopped by around lunchtime, I got there right. I interrupted his lunch. So I stopped by and I sent him, here, here's my information. Boom, boom, boom. He said, okay, this is my information. And afterwards, about an hour later, you see here, I said, hey, I created this video and it demonstrates how you could load a 30-yard. Now, he has a 40-yard there, but he wasn't sure how a 30 could help him at his facility. So I said, okay, no worries. So I'm with my colleague, and here's the video.
Average? Hey, this is Marcello with Republic Services. Just left your site. I'm actually visiting a customer not too far from you, and they have a 30-yard bump against the dock. So I wanted to show you how it looks like a 40-yard bump against the dock. Ricardo, when you stand by the door, so this is Ricardo standing by right there, and that's 30 yards. I want to show you how it looks and how it can compare towards compared to a 40-yard.
Isn't that?
I mean, simple, easy. That was it.
Isn't that more visual of explaining something to somebody than saying what I can actually do? You're actually putting it in context so they can see and go, okay, cool, I understand it. Yes, let's get a 30 in here.
Hey, it really reinforces something better. If you want to join, turn your camera on, you're more than welcome, and let folks know about you as well. But thank you very much for joining us, Trudy. Yeah, you see, that's what I was talking about, Gabe. That's exactly. See, instead of me going back and forth or giving them dimensions, oh, it's 60 whatever and 30 and 75. No, let me put a human that you saw with your own eyes next to the container, acting, loading the dock. Now, and the reason why I bring that up is because companies like Scott's of that level, their concern is safety. That's huge. So if they could remove any potential liability, and I'm helping them to do that, it makes their job easy. He can go back to what his job is, to manage the facility, rather than making sure that Pablo or Peter loads a container properly and doesn't injure himself.
Yeah, and that's why I say I'm all about video, man. If you're not into it, I suggest at some point you start researching it. Go to YouTube, go to Google, start searching on how you can use video in your business. I mean, it's adaptable to whatever you're using. I mean, there's no limitations. We all have studio quality cameras on our phones.
Yep.
I mean, so I mean, why not use what the tools that you already have in your hands?
Than my production value camera has.
Yeah, imagine the key thing is that this is what I was telling my colleague, right? Now, what this person is going to do, if, mind you, he doesn't really make all the decisions, but he's an influencer. Now, he could use that video and share it with his superior and say, hey, this is what it is and this is how it works, rather than saying, hey, superior, the dimensions are this, and I feel that this will work. No, feelings are out of the equation. It's fact. And now they can make a confident decision that it works for their business. And now they more in line. Now him and I are partnering. We're working together for a common goal rather than me being the salesperson. So that's the key thing. So now, Martin, to wrap up, what's your thoughts on, and mind you, you've been doing that recently, creating videos to promote the products and services that you promote. What's your thoughts on doing that when it pertains to making sure that it resonates with your client? Because that's something you and I talked offline quite a bit.
Yes, absolutely. I think basically, if you're not doing it, any sales person is not doing it, then your alarm clock is just bad. You got to change it because right now we have, after this COVID thing, or actually this COVID pandemic has fast forward what it was going to happen, but it's now happening. And then right now, some research and stuff that I have been looking at in regards of this, it says that posts that include images produce 650% higher engagement than text only post. So I'm a true believer that this is the new tool, and the doors have opened for to achieve even higher goals in the sales, B2B sales business, definitely.
No, I appreciate that. And Trudy, I know Trudy Wilson. She's been connected with me for a very long time. I've known her for a while, and you're more than welcome to join. If you don't want to turn your camera on, let folks know a little bit about yourself, and also watch your folks connect with you here on LinkedIn.
Hi, am I the only female on here? I don't see any other female.
No, we actually had several other women earlier when we first started at 7:30. Okay. But you continuing the ability to have some beautiful ladies on the show. So thank you very much for joining us.
Hey guys, before I get out of here,
go ahead.
Good meeting all of you guys. Thank you so much. Okay. I gotta run, get going on my own live.
Yeah, I know you come live at 8:30.
Patrick, it was nice meeting you. I love what Coach Verdue and you guys are doing over there. I'm friends with Nancy.
Great meeting you.
Yeah, I'm friends with Nancy Barrows, so I know she's doing stuff there as well with you guys. So
yeah, she and Raquel are trying to help us. We got a good team coming together.
So yes, I love the initiative. Love what you guys are doing. Catch you guys later. I'll catch the rest on the replay, Marcello.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. All right, sorry about that, Trudy. I know we had Gabe had a hard out at 8:30, so I apologize. Go right ahead, Trudy.
I apologize for joining late. I kind of came across the thing. I'm like, oh my goodness, I want to join this and see what's going on.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. So I'll have to go back and watch the replay later. But to give you guys a little bit of information about myself, I am actually in trade compliance. So what that means is I work with importers and exporters to make sure that they understand the laws and regulations of bringing things in and out of the United States. So really cool job. I've been in the logistics and supply chain industry forever. Yeah, forever, right after college. And I love it. It's great. I do a lot of training as well, working with huge corporations. And so with the pandemic, it really affected me that much because I've already done stuff online and I was able to do a lot more online. So yeah, that's just a little bit about me.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Now, thank you for sharing what you're doing and during the day. Why should folks connect with you on LinkedIn here? And how you could, how can you collaborate with other people if that's even a possibility?
Okay, so It's just mainly networking. That's the reason why people should connect with me on LinkedIn. And again, because I don't know everybody's background, the industry that I'm in is relatively specialized. So I'm not sure if you guys would have any need for my services, what I bring to the table. But it's just really, as for me right now, is networking and getting into LinkedIn, because I have kind of neglected LinkedIn. And so now I'm kind of realizing the errors of my ways and getting into it. So anything you can teach me about LinkedIn and working the whole system in the program, I am all ears. So I am new to the LinkedIn table, even though I've been there, but I haven't really used it. So
thank you. I appreciate that. And mind you, let me start by saying it takes a lot of guts to come on the show. And what I mean by that is that I've had a lot of folks with good guts, and they'll be in the comments, and mind it takes a while to get on the show. It might be. It's not about any particular reasons, but I appreciate you. You don't have your camera on, but thank you very much for joining us and sharing your insight. Now, the topic of today's show is: should B2B or people that represent an organization create content to promote their initiatives or what they are paid to do? What are your thoughts on that, if you do have one?
Absolutely. Content is everything. It's funny because I was just having this conversation before I jumped online that, we've been writing stuff all through school, all through our life, right? How many papers have you written between, high school all the way to college and grad school? And, when you talk about professors, there's always publish or perish. So we definitely have to put content out there. The main thing that I want to try to focus on is bringing value to people. And so trade compliance is pretty complex. So I enjoy the process of breaking it down and making it simpler and easier for anybody who has to deal with it to understand what's going on. So that's one of my many big pushes, especially with doing LinkedIn, is just share a lot of content, a lot of valuable information that people can use on a day-to-day basis as they go through the trade compliance world.
That's awesome. I appreciate that. Thank you very much for sharing that. I'm not sure if you guys caught this. I actually was when I was about to close up a tab, and the video that I created for that customer, you could see it right here. It has 4 views. Mind you, I only sent it to him. Now, we just watched it once. So that tells you that he shared it with 3 other people. After I uploaded, I never watched it. So it just shows you how important it is to, something as simple as that. So, I just saw that and I wanted to share that with you guys. Now, if you guys are just joining us, we did the intros for half an hour. Now, and then from 8 to 8:30, we discussed the topic if we should create content.
And then the show begins.
What was that, Clark?
And then now the show really begins. I love it. I'm telling you, Chello, you've got the best show. The topics are great. The conversation is great. Man, you do it. I love it.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Check is in the mail. Thank you. But yeah, Raju, this is what I'm thinking. Like, it's 8:30 right now. Chances are I might be, and I'm glad that I still got Pat on the line, because if you guys saw his sweater, he has the Pats in his room for the Pats. So he's hanging in. Look at that. He's hanging in there with me. So you might see him doing one of these, throughout the show. So because he might be watching the game. So thank you very much for hanging in there. I'm going to bring on the show now. Before we move forward, I wanted to give a shout out to the couple of folks. I got my dude, Danny Shannon. Thank you very much for stopping in, dude. I love it. I appreciate that. I got Senor. He says, hey, video messages are all trash, but I love them. See, this guy, he got the perfect one-liners.
He's loving it at the same time.
I love it. And then I'm Felicia. Thank you very much for coming through. I appreciate that. Listen, you said it was all men. Watch the replay, Felicia. We had ladies when the show started. You'll see there was 2 nice ladies, beautiful ladies with us earlier today. So trust me, you just got to watch the replay. And I see folks put links to their posts, and I see you was getting a shout out to my dude, Mr. Daryl Perry. So thank you very much for doing that. Now I'm going to bring on the pièce resistance right here, which is going to be talking about should folks create content, or salespeople be creating content here on LinkedIn. So let's get right into this. I'm going to bring this guy up full screen.
Hey, Chello, I got a question.
Go ahead, man.
This is Cocktails with Chello. What's the cocktail of the day?
I appreciate it. This guy is outstanding. I love that he's on you. Thank you very much for asking.
I brought a cocktail.
The cocktails is Angel Envy. So if you guys, I'm not sure. Some folks might know about it, but it's a decent whiskey bourbon, and it's nice and smooth. It doesn't really have much of a bite, so I definitely recommend you guys. I'm drinking it out of my Cocktails with Chello.
Nice.
I have that same glass of mine in
a minute. That's what I'm doing. So let me ask my dude, Patrick, what you sipping on, sir?
Well, my wife and I are actually doing a plant-based diet right now. We're trying to try that out. So I'm drinking water right now.
No, I need to do
I'm on a strict path. I couldn't break it. I'm staying strong. I gotta stick strong. We're trying this out. I want to get the full benefits. If it's,
No. I agree with you. Listen, I got this handy right now next to me, so in between, I stay hydrated just in case. So now this is a good call. Curveball. This guy normally drinks water. All right, guys. So check this out. Yeah, he's laughing right now. Chris, what you sipping on today?
Some Svedka Blue Raspberry.
The flavor vodka. They bringing out the classic
stuff there.
Delicious. Reminiscent of my adolescence.
Okay, that's good. That's good. And Enrique, I see he got a bottle of water. What's in it?
Yeah,
Stay hydrated. That's good. My dude over here, Senor Wine and Senor Vino. What are you drinking today?
No, whiskey.
Whiskey. Okay.
Yeah.
Any particular whiskey that we know of, or is it homemade whiskey?
No.
I don't know. It might be. People do that sometimes.
That's what we call pitorro.
Yeah, pitorro. Eso así. Yeah, roncañita.
All right, it's getting out of control right now. Now, Chad, what are you sipping on? I saw you got a bottle.
We got an infomercial here, man. High West.
Oh. Okay, and you got the solid ball eyes. I like that. So
That's right.
you know how to do
Yeah.
Yeah. Mine is already melting a little bit. Yeah, okay. And Clark, what you do? What you drinking over there? If you are drinking,
we are.
Yeah,
and this right here, ladies and gentlemen, is the Sinatra Select from Jack Daniels. Great Tennessee whiskey.
I've seen that. How is that? Can you describe the taste?
It is very, very smooth, very, very aged. It is it's different. So if you had, and of course, you're right, you do it in with the single cube there.
Mm-hmm.
If you are a whiskey lover, you've probably had single barrel, you may have Gentleman Jack and others, but this one is a unique one. It's hard to find too. I mean, they only have I guess limited stock as they go through it. But the daggone thing, I only open it up, once a year.
Yeah,
it's about a $300 bottle. So,
I know it's not cheap. I know that
it's not pretty every day, but it's a really good piece, and it's great because I said I'm going to save something for the holiday and want to crack it open here on Cocktails with Chello.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Let me see if Miss Trudy, mind you don't have to show it, but you can tell us if you whatever you're sipping on. What are you drinking?
Only water tonight. Sorry to disappoint you guys. Next time,
I
was not prepared to
tell me. I don't want you to tell me that you're drinking some Night Train or some Thunderbird, and we don't even know what you're drinking over there.
MD.
Just plain water. Next time, I'll be more prepared.
That'll work. That'll work. Thank you. I appreciate that. And Felicia's laughing. No, you're fine, Felicia. No, I'm just teasing you. If you watch it from the beginning, we have some lady. And you know what? You're next. You need to join us next time on the chat live here.
Hey, Marcelo, where do we buy your merchandise?
I wish I could have it to sell. Esto la esposa me lo compró. My wife.
I thought you were starting something here. So I
wish I was done. This is no. My wife actually.
I can make that happen.
Look, my wife bought me this for my birthday. One day we went to. She surprised me with an evening at a nice exclusive hotel, and it's one of these. They call them man crates. I'm not sure if you guys heard about it before.
Mm-hmm.
And you heard it. Okay. So it's called Man Crates. And literally it was a crate. And it had, one of those things that a crate open or something. And I'm there at this, 5-star hotel opening up a crate. It's just the funniest thing. And I'm opening it up and one glass comes out and then something else. And it was phenomenal. It's the gift that you give someone that, has it all, that kind of thing,
Well said, Chello. Well said.
Hey, listen.
What else do you need?
Listen, if you tell me, like, I got, I have everything that you can imagine.
My man.
Technology wise, I'm bored. So my wife always gets me these weird kind of stuff, like, some of the wine and the liquor, she bought it. But before we go into the show, I'm not sure if you guys know Mr. Martin Pratt. And then you have to say it like that because you have to create some drama when you say his name, and as he sips from his water, his perfectly selected water. Martin, can you share with folks why should folks connect with you here on LinkedIn and what you're doing here on LinkedIn, please?
Wow, right on the spot.
Yeah, baby.
Okay, cool.
Everybody went already. We've been chatting since 7
hours. I think that what I try to do, not so much just on LinkedIn, but in general, is be that connector. Really connect people with other people that are trying to get a connection going in a specific area. I do that mainly in the area of tech and culture, particularly publishing and media, radio, TV, or live streaming and podcasting. Been in that space since early 90s. And in the 90s, we had something called Black Planet.
Yes.
Then in 2000, something called iSpace and something called TalkShoe. So I come at it from a good 20 to 30 years experience and just knowing who the players are. In fact, last night was on Clubhouse with Jason Linux, and Jason said something really interesting about social networking. He literally, you could type in at Jason on Twitter, and people quoted him. Said that social networks are built upon the culture of Black people, and that's the first time a VC has said that shit. So
wow,
it's epic. And he acknowledged that Silicon Valley, whatever app comes out, if Black people don't adapt it, it's not going anywhere. So with that lens, that framework, that's mainly my demographic when it comes to really trying to be the plug or the connector. That's it.
No, I appreciate that. Thank you. That's pretty awesome. And now put a link to your profile and also a link to the organization that you're working on. And if you don't mind, you can send me an invitation to Clubhouse.
Oh yeah, I didn't know you knew one. I figured you were already there.
I'm not on there yet, but soon enough I will be. I appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
I got you, bro. Just gotta text me a number.
I will. I definitely will. All right, so let me bring on the show that we're gonna be watching, guys. Let me bring this guy on right now. So just give me 1 second. Get my tabs up.
Chello.
Yeah, baby.
I'm gonna be yelling, and I don't want to yell and distract people.
I know because you're watching the Pats game. I know. I'm already going to see your Pats.
I'm gonna be watching it on my iPad, but I won't be able to be interacting on the video. So I'm gonna stay watching you. I appreciate that. But I will see you next week. All right.
Thank you, baby. I appreciate that.
31. Congrats on 30.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's my 30th show.
Go Pats.
I'm surprised I've done it this long.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, baby.
Take care, guys. It was nice meeting everyone.
You're welcome. All right, so let's get it going. Here we go. This is how it starts, guys.
Hello, Sales Nation. My name is Will Barron, and I'm the host of the Salesman Podcast, the world's most downloaded B2B sales show. On today's episode, we have the legend that is Sam Gunning, and he is the co-owner and sales director of Web Choice UK, which you can find over at webchoiceuk.com. And on today's episode, we're asking the question: do salespeople need to create content? And spoiler alert, yes, Of course you do, if you want to have success in modern B2B sales. Everything that we talk about in this episode is available in the show notes over at salesman.org. And with that said, let's jump right into it. Okay, so in today's episode, we're going to get into why salespeople need to create content. And I might be making a presumption here, so I'll tee up that presumption with the first question, Sam. And in the world that we're currently living in, people working from home, content seems more important than ever from my perspective. Which is more important, right? To create new revenue. Is it the skill of creating content, or is it the skill of
Okay, that's a good question there. What do you guys think when it comes down to content? Do you think that it doesn't need to be like that? Do you feel that is there a skill behind creating good content, or should just do it and then see how it works out? What are you guys' thoughts on that?
I think it's everything.
Yeah.
I think the person that has never created content before needs to get started. At the same time, it doesn't have to be perfect. I think, and it should be authentic and genuine for that specific vertical and to that specific person. Good example is Daryl, your partner in crime.
Yes, sir.
I think, as far as I know, he's the first insurance guy I see to take a top 10 rap song and make a rap about it. With insurance. So it's fucking genius, and it's really authentic to Daryl's vertical and to Daryl himself.
Yeah.
There was a guy on LinkedIn years ago as a car salesman. He used to rap out of Texas, and he was authentic to his. I think it was out of Dallas. He was rapping about cars, and it was hilarious, but it was very authentic. It's his lane.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. What's your thoughts on that, Clark? I mean, do you feel that you need to know what you're doing, or should you just wing it? What's your thoughts on that?
I think it's got to be relatable, but not overproduced. I mean, you have to have that authenticity. I remember the TikTok video with the gentleman with the ocean spray, and then he had that song from Fleetwood Mac playing in the background. That little snippet that he had on TikTok awarded him a brand new vehicle. Promotion from Ocean Spray, lots of new checks coming in the door. You never really know from a content perspective what's going to take flight. So you want to keep it authentic. You want it to reflect you, but it shouldn't be overproduced, not overproduction, but it has to come across and that niche. And I agree. I love Daryl, when he's doing those raps, that's so cool and authentic. And with, he's got two, I guess, monikers about his branding, the bow tie guy. Yeah. And that rap song, and it's him. So I think that you want your brand to be fluent, and it really should resonate across multiple media channels. So that's one thing you want to do. And then the next piece, have that content flow, have it be authentic, have you look like subject matter expert, but not overproduced at all.
Mm-hmm. Good point. Enrique, I see you chomping on the bits. Before I do that, I want to get Chad to give his insight on that topic because I believe he has a heart out. So, Chad, what's your thought on creating content? Do you feel that should you spend a lot of time producing it, or should you just lack a better word, wing it?
Very good question. And coming from an entertainment background, I am prone to wanting to overproduce things. Mm-hmm. Chello, you and I, we discussed this right at the forefront of your putting this out there, and you're like, yeah, you just got to put it out and not care what people think. And I took more of a reserved element to it, and I want to make sure that I'm this and that. And you're like, I get it. I've been there too. Eventually, at some point, you realize that if you keep wanting to make things perfect, you'll never do anything. Mm-hmm. That wasn't the case that I was putting myself out for, but it was I wasn't quite ready to speak intelligently on that vertical aspect that everybody's been speaking out here. It's you got to start, and when you start, there's gonna be some bumps in the road. You're not going to be perfect, and having that authentic voice that might just be the Mythbusters that you need to get your voice out there, right? That's one of the reasons why a show like Mythbusters was so prevalent in society, is because they allowed themselves to just go through the process. And I think, that's what you're doing here, Chello. And hopefully everybody else is trying to create their own authentic self so that their voice gets heard.
That's the key thing, is that sometimes people do take, paralysis by analysis or something to that effect. Sometimes you spend too much time overthinking it and you never get the content out. So, if at the end of the day, it's all about the message. And, you'll see sometimes something as simple as just getting the message out, whatever it is that you want to do. And then from there, as you do it more often, then you find opportunities where you want to tweak it. I tell you, for me, it's I'm from New York City. My mother was Spanish. My father is Italian. Yo hablo español, soy boricua, Latino, and my challenge is enunciating. So that's always been my challenge. So as I listen to the videos after I do these lives, I'll listen to how I enunciate words like Atlanta. No, Atlanta. So I started being critical of myself. And so by my 30th show, I could pronounce the word Atlanta better. So but it took 30 shows to do that. But you get the idea, you know what I mean? Rather than, trying to perfect it before I even get the first one. So.
Hey, ATL always worked for me.
That's a great one. I love it.
That'll work. Chad, one thing did you want to add something else before I bring on Enrique because I know you have a heart out?
I didn't really have anything much else to say except, about what I'm looking to do on the 29th of January. I'm looking to create something that we're discussing here in my own LinkedIn profile. I'm going to have a conversation with one of my consultants on how they worked with a product and a customer of ours, just kind of like putting my own business to business element and spin out there. So I'm just, as we're talking, it's nice to hear that, authentic voices and, originality and not being perfect is always great. So, I'm kind of gaining from the conversation that we all have to sit, have to hear. And, I've got a heart out here in about 10 minutes or 11 minutes. So, whatever I miss, I'll catch up on the replay.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that, Sharon. And mind you, and thank you very much for sharing the story or the journey, our journey, how, and it takes a lot of guts to say, yeah, Marcello, I when we talked originally, I was like, yeah, I don't really want to do it just yet. I really want to get it. There's a vision I have, and I want to make sure that vision comes to fruition before I present it. That takes a lot of guts. So I appreciate your candor and allowing yourself to be vulnerable. And thank you very much for, joining us today. And then hopefully this won't be your last time. And you're more than welcome to join us and even join us in a comment section. So thank you very much for sharing, Chad.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate you having me on here.
You're welcome. Enrique, what's your thoughts on that? Do you think that should you have a perfect presentation, nicely edited and, what is this different programs? I think like you could use Rush. Adobe Rush is a program people use on their phone to make it slick. Should they spend hours to do that, or should you just record it on their phone and post it? What's your thoughts on that, Enrique?
Yeah, I think it's just what's your purpose? Why are you doing it? Because if you don't know why you're doing it, then you're going to be wasting your time. So figure out your purpose and what you wanted to actually fulfill. And then once you got that down, I say, I'm going to use this, but it ain't mine. I give credit to Chris, and I'll let everybody know who he is later. But Start Ugly. He wrote a book. It says Start Ugly. But aimless kind of posts won't get you any traction. People are going to get confused. But as long as you know your purpose, start ugly. And just continue to plug, like I mentioned before, 34,000 views on a slider. I did because I knew I had heard these people wanting to know about this, so I just created it. Well, they weren't the only ones. So and you just never know what chord, and I like to call it a heartstring, what heartstring you're going to pull with your content. As long as it falls within your wheelhouse and you're not hopping on every subject, right? Because we know a lot, but where you're gonna, pin down where your specialty is. Anybody see me on LinkedIn, I hope they can say, "Oh, there goes Enrique. He's the leadership guy." Yeah. If you can't say that, then I'm wasting my time.
See, that's perfect. I like how you say. I mean, that resonates. That makes a lot of sense. And the key thing is that is an image or that's a persona that you want to resonate when people see your post. I mean, so much so that during the Thanksgiving Day holiday, I had, and I'm sure some of you guys experience this as well when you guys take a sabbatical from social media, but they'll say, "Hey, I haven't seen you post. When is the next LinkedIn lunch?" I'm getting all that. So then then that tells me, like what you just said, people actually are looking forward to that engagement. So, and it actually warms my heart because then it tells me, okay, I'm actually connecting on another level. I'm not out here just blabbing just to blab, for my purpose. So that means a lot. Martin, what do you what are your thoughts on that? Do you feel that should it be perfected before you post, or should you just grab your phone and if you know exactly what you want to say, or better yet, maybe even write it down and just say it free ball? What's your thoughts on that, Martin?
No, I think
definitely.
I'm sorry, no, Martin. Hold on a second. I apologize, Martin P. I'll come back to you. I'm talking about Martin V. Martin,
sorry,
Latin Martin. Ricky Martin. There you go. You're gonna be Ricky Martin today. Ricky Martin. Go ahead, Ricky Martin.
I definitely think you just put it out there, and then you can keep polishing it as you go. Just to wait to be perfect, because there's that time will never happen. It makes me think of Motorola when they came out with this big old phone that looked like you were in the military. Probably they knew they can do it smaller eventually, but they just put it out there. So I think the same thing. We gotta put it out there and then keep polishing as you go.
Are you talking about like this small?
Exactly. There you go. There you go.
This is called Palm. If you guys look it up, they came out with a phone about a year ago. They called this the companion phone. So you guys put this in your fifth pocket in your jean. It's Android based. So so that's pretty small right there. See, it fits in a palm right there.
There you go.
If I'm gonna hang out, and I'm wearing my too old to be wearing skinny jeans because you see the gray, So
like the Ramon skinny jeans.
That's the kind of thing. No, Martin, did you have something to add to? Okay, let me bring that the continuation. ¿En qué tú estás hablando? What you pointing to over there, Ricky Martin? I saw you pointing. What'd you say? Oh, mute. Oh, are you gonna change your name? Change it to Ricky Martin.
No, Martin. So I thought you were gonna Martin Pratt. It was gonna say something.
I know. He waved me off. He said, "No. Go."
Okay. Okay.
Let me bring it on right now. Here we go. Let me bring this dude out.
It's a tough question, and I'm not sure if there is one specific answer.
So interesting. We answered the question already. Let's see what they have to say. What Sam has to say to that question.
Answer. I think. If we start from scratch, I think in the future possibly content could be. I always say content is king because it's a big part of what I do. And perhaps if I start with a little story about myself, Will, it might give us some context and help the audience understand how it's helped me. So probably about 8 to 12 months ago, I set myself a little task of creating content on, in my case, LinkedIn, because just like everyone listening, I'm a B2B sales professional. And I thought, hey, I've been neglecting LinkedIn. I think if I can put content out each and every day, something that's hopefully going to be a bit of value, whether it's a tip, whether it's a little video, maybe it's a question that I've had from my clients or prospects. It's just giving insights really into what I do, questions I get on a day-to-day, and just really trying to help people with sales, or in my case, marketing as well. It could be used. So I set myself that task to post each and every day. And over time, magically, I started getting people messaging on LinkedIn from the content that I was putting out and saying, look, Sam, can you help me with this project? Or I've got this project in mind. And so other people, this took weeks, this took months. It's not an overnight thing. Other people say, Sam, you sprung out from literally nowhere. I see all this content that you're engaging on, all this content you're putting out. First of all, who are you? Second of all, can you help me? So in my case, well, the content's been a huge part of helping me get thought leadership, helping me get inbound leads, and helping build brand or trust with people that I'm perhaps already talking to or thinking about doing business with, or people thinking up doing business with me, which you can perhaps tap into a bit more later. But on the flip side, is it more important than being able to sell on the phone? Well, I still don't think it's quite there. Even though I'm a big believer in content. Obviously, I run a digital marketing company, so I'm selling to people day in, day out. It's sales skills are still key. Even if you can generate the lead, if you can't have a conversation with a prospect and bring them some sort of insight, show that you know what you're talking about, understand their world, understand any potential problems they may be facing, and if your product or service can actually help fix those and make their life better or make their world better.
So now that resonates with me, because I guess when it comes down to that itself, that goes back to what we talked about, creating content, or answering the question, but even the objection, either the question or the objection that either the current or future client has. I guess that's what Sam is saying. It's like, you know, that these are things that your customers are facing. So chances are people that you work with, or maybe future customers or individuals that might be searching for hashtag this problem or hashtag this solution, if you properly tag that post, your post could come up. So now, given that said, how do you guys, and I'll go from right to left, Clark, and then we continue on. How do you guys decide on what content do you create? In my scenario, just to give you an idea, it could be a scenario or a call or a question or a text that I get. I'm like, that might be something I want to create a video for, and I'll create a post and then I have it ready for the future. Or is it something that you see someone else post and that inspires you? So what's your thoughts on that? Go ahead, Clark.
Yeah, well, I think the first thing I do is I looked at what's trending. So I try to understand what hashtags are trending, and can I create contact within my vertical, which is really going to be finance and the business world. Can I create content around that? So pandemic, yeah, there's a ton of stuff you can talk about businesses and such. Then you want to look next to a subject that's within your vertical that no one has really brought out yet. It could be a subject that you may deem extremely boring. I mean, I just released a podcast talking about Excel, and I had a host, I had a guest, Oz Du Soleil, who is an Excel, he's a thought leader. He does LinkedIn learning. And, you know, you come out of that, and I had comments like, oh my God, I didn't know it could be that much fun. So, you know, I try to look for those areas to kind of create that one-off space. But if I can real quick, you want to talk about overproduction? Yeah, you could definitely get overproduced. Remember Blair Witch Project, the first one? Phenomenal success.
Yep.
Number 2, a flop. Overproduction. Yep.
Yeah, I guess, you know, as you say that, I guess you're right. It goes back to what our earlier question was, just keeping it simple. That makes a lot of sense.
Simple. I mean, that shaky camera on Blair Witch, we loved it. When the studio got a hand of it and they said, we're going to do part 2, we're going to pump in $30 million, it sucked. It was a disaster because the authenticity was gone. It was overproduced.
That makes a lot of sense. Now, what's your Enrique? What's your thoughts on that? On how do you get your inspiration when it pertains to the content that you post?
Yeah, well, I mean, first of all, I speak to my market. You know, I have a college market, I have a in-work leadership market, and I have an executive market. Those three little pies of mine, that's where I reside. And so when I speak to them. It just happens that leadership struggles everybody's having. So it resounds outside of those three pipelines, but that's who I speak to. And when I speak to them, I speak to things that kind of affects you in one way or another. So they kind of like, they grow on their own.
Yeah.
But the point of all that is that you have to know who you're talking to. If you don't know who you're talking to, it's a huge span out there, right? It's like saying hello in space and hoping you hit a planet. You got to know who you're talking to. You got to know why you're doing it, and you have to know that you're actually attacking a pain point. Because if you don't attack a pain point, it's not going to heal the listener, and your content must heal whatever's paining them. And if you don't,
I like that approach.
Yeah.
I like that approach because we always in sales, we always talk about you looking for the pain point. That's always been the classic address or a classic approach. So that makes a lot of sense. And like what you said in the beginning of the show, about an hour and a half ago, you said looking for the why. And you said that earlier, and that, so, and I think, and when you say that, I think about another Latin guy here on LinkedIn and also on YouTube called Victor Antonio. And he says, looking for the why people buy. It's something that I phrase that he says, I don't want to chop it up. But yeah, so he says the same thing, look for the why people buy. So that makes a lot of sense. Martin, what's your thoughts on that when it pertains to production? Is it on that? How do you get your inspiration when you're posting content on social media? Let's just say social media for that matter.
Well, I think that one of the key factors is less about what's trending and more about what I want to say about what I just experienced. For instance, last night there were some young people that created a room on Clubhouse that said, is LinkedIn dead? Or can it be revived? And funny thing, about probably 6 Facebook employees came through, and I'm sorry, right, LinkedIn, not LinkedIn, sorry. My wife just said, it's Instagram. I was like, you're right, that's right. Is Instagram dying or alive? And that made me, I listened to people under 30 talk about Instagram, and from a whole different angle than I thought about it. In fact, one of them brought up a really good point. He was like, he's a international basketball player. And he was like, people ask me for my IG, like they would ask me for my email address. And so he's like, it's not dead, but it has changed in a way that feels not authentic. Whereas so TikTok feels authentic now.
You feel that we have already reached the apex already for IG, and we're already on the other side of the mountain?
So that's what my content would be about. That what you asked right now, I did not get from that conversation, and I'm interested in seeing what the audience has to say about that. I'm less interested in how I feel about it, because I'm only I was taught early to use technology like probably everybody here probably remembers DBase Plus or WordStar 2000, which was before WordPerfect. And so I come at technology with a specific program for a specific task and get that job done and be out. When Windows came along, it was like this new concept of multitasking on a PC that truly never really happened until XP or, But anyway, that said.
You talking about Windows 97?
No, no. Well, 97 was the thing about 97.
95 is the one that put everything on the map. You know that.
Well, I think, and that's why I'm a part of this conversation. I'm always interested in what everyone else around me is thinking. I'm less interested in what about a topic though, and it may not be a trending topic. So I think if you're authentic in yourself and saying, that's where there's fun at, right? Like that's where it gets like you're not working, you're doing your passion. because and that's what, to me, the audience, to what Clark was talking about with Blair Witch Project. Once that the version 2 came out, I was curious too, Clark, about whether it would flop or work, because I'm in New York. I'm looking at indie filmmakers, and I'm watching all kind of crazy things happen with cameras. And it was like, yep, studio got good cameras, and it was inauthentic. It wasn't the same nervousness. There wasn't the same point of view. And you can't create that again. Usually, it's very difficult. Certain people in music do that well. Certain people in film, Quentin Tarantino, I think, does somewhat to give you an outside perspective, but his specific perspective. I think he creates those situations well. So anyway, to answer your question, I don't think that it has to be done extremely well. I think it has to be done from that person's heart, and we'll go along with that person's heart as long as it's a genuine heart and it's not a Russian bot's heart. Then we'll go along for the ride.
Yeah, and I think that I like that approach, because when it comes down to saying that, the key thing is when you do that, if your content resonates with your ideal client, great. And if it doesn't, it's fine. And the reason why I bring that up is that you think about some of these YouTubers, some of them become successful, and then you go back to some of the content they put out a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years ago, and you're thinking, wow, this guy had an overnight success. No, this guy's been consistently producing content. But as you can see, the stuff that he put out years ago and what he's putting out now, you can see how he or she evolved. So that's the key thing. It goes back, to the earlier topic, So let me continue what my dude Sam and also Will Barron are vacillating on, and see what they have to continue saying, and then let's see what we could share insight on that topic.
Then it's kind of the two evils. They weigh up against each other, if that makes sense.
Of course. Well, it's chicken and egg, isn't it? How are you going to close a lead if you can't generate them? How are you going to generate leads? Or how are you going to close leads if, whatever the opposite of that terrible anecdote was. Okay, well, two things here, Sam. I think you're slightly underselling yourself. And I'm interested as to whether you popping onto my radar just by commenting on every single piece of content we publish on LinkedIn, which is greatly appreciated, whether this was luck or whether there's actually strategy behind it.
And I'm not going to go full stream, but I'm curious to know what you guys thought about that. So Sam, as what Will just said, Sam got on Will's radar, and Will Barron's a gentleman on the screen now. He produces this podcast. Sam managed to get on his radar to get on the show by commenting on most of his content on posts. Is that an approach that some of you guys have done in the past and seen success on? And if so, what's your thoughts on that? So I'll go from the top to the bottom. Clark, what do you think on that?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I met you like that. So
it
is about Triple G.
Right.
Yeah, but it really is about that. I think that engagement. So we want to just take the formality out of it. Commenting on it and such. It's engaging. So you can come into someone's platform, whether it's live stream or team replay, to engage. That's where it starts. And once you engage, you add value to their content. And once you add value, you're seen as someone who has subject matter expertise. And that value add can then help promote you to where I'm at now. I'm helping to participate now in the talking panel. So I think it's hugely important. And that's the value. I think, all of us here on this panel, we know one thing. COVID stopped all of our travel. And there's my son there.
Oh, man.
COVID stopped all of our
earlier, you had one.
I have two.
At like 8 o'clock, you had one. Then at 8:30, you had two. I was thinking by 10 o'clock, you can have four.
Oh, I wait till the dog comes in. He's coming next. But it's hilarious. But really, it's about the fact that we all know that COVID stopped our travel. So I can't go coast to coast like I used to and do a lot of traveling. But I think from an efficiency standpoint, I can participate in far many more events and sessions through a 30-day calendar month than I could before. Yep. And when I participate, I think I have a much better value add because I don't go through the whole logistics of travel and such. So I think that, outside of having the kids around, which, is great.
This is the new normal, that line, but that's what it is. And it's accepted.
Yes, it is. Absolutely, Chello.
No, and Enrique, what's your thoughts on that? Is it and now I guess the answer is I think that you say yes, because that's how we got to this point. Same way we engage in each other's content, but just curious to know with other content producers, have you utilized that, and how has that worked for you?
Yeah, well, being a former military, planning is everything. Mm-hmm. You execute to a plan. Yeah. And so he was saying that, and over here I'm smiling because that's not easy. That he brought my mail, right? So so I just published on my LinkedIn stories and also made a post. My 2021 podcast schedule is completely booked. Wow. That didn't happen because I just happened to ask people. I participated and collaborated with the people I wanted on my schedule. And that was this whole last year. Now, it was genuine. I wanted them on there. But guess what? You have to build a relationship. Mm-hmm. It's not going to happen overnight. Now, I won't say that there weren't some people that I asked. They probably went on my LinkedIn profile, looked at my stuff, and said, okay, this guy is legit. I can probably let them on. Mm-hmm. Because I have people from just the LinkedIn community and all the way through government, all around the world. And if you look at my posts, every country almost is represented on there because it was with a purpose. And 2021 is already a success because of that relationship building that happens on LinkedIn through posts. And I mentioned this earlier. The life of LinkedIn is in the comments.
Now, when you say, can you elaborate what you mean by that? The life in LinkedIn is in the comments. Tell me more about that. I really want to. I think that's something that people that are watching this need to really understand.
Well, I mean, you have three ways really of engaging in a post. You have a reaction, right? That's your thumbs up, your heart, your share. Now they got your support, right? Mm-hmm. That's new, right? So now you support something. So that's one. Number two is sharing it. If you liked it, hey, you copy that thing, you put it in your own post. And this I want to make sure people understand. Tag the person in your post that originally made the post so they can go back and engage, and then that keeps it alive. And then it's the comments. The comment is my mind and my heart speaking towards your topic and how either I approve of it or I don't approve of it or whatever it may be. But guess what? I just opened the door to a conversation. As long as that conversation is rolling throughout the day, LinkedIn is pushing that out. And the first batch of the first 10% of your connections get your first post. They get a peak. Well, if everybody's chatting for an hour, the other 10, and it goes in 10% increments until, hey, if it's great, you get 100,000 views on your post. I mean, it's crazy. Yeah. So the life is in the comments.
Wow, that's well said. I didn't know that it compounds or, I mean, I heard about the first hour, when you post something to make sure that you are highly engaged for the first hour. But I didn't know that, I knew that the first hour, the first 10% or the 10% of your audience sees it. but then based on how well your post does in the first hour within that 10% determines if it continues reaching out or dies. Wow. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Now, Enrique, I know that you have a heart out, and listen, I can't thank you enough for joining us today. I'm curious to know, I mean, outside of LinkedIn, is there anything else that folks can connect with you on social media, and how can they reach you if there's a product service that you like to provide?
Yeah, I didn't mention, so thank you for that. So I have 2 podcasts that I host. One is Developing the Leader Within podcast. You can find that just by putting that in there, either in your podcast platform or YouTube. So I run both. So I run the video version on YouTube and the audio in your podcast. And I also have a military-centric one that I co-host with my buddy Vince Loran, and it's called the Leadership Void podcast. Obviously, I'm leadership, right? So everything's gonna be centered around that. Mm-hmm. So if you want any of one of those 2, go reach them out and look them up. We have great guests, and like I said, I plan. So on Developing the Leader Within, the guests are gonna be world class this coming year. Not that they weren't. It's just that this year I was focused on making sure that it kept pushing the envelope.
Yeah.
And here on LinkedIn, I post every day. And I post every day about leadership. I provide like coaching, mentorship, and basically development of leadership at the college level. Going out, you're brand new, you have no idea. Let me save you some pain. Right? If you're in there and you was trusted, because we all know some people got into leadership and you're like, how in the world? Who made that decision? Right? Well, those people I work with to get them out of that position, man, because they were put there too, right? So and then your executives that are finding it hard to lead from the heart, I work with them too. So those are my 3 lanes. So if anybody has any concern in developing those areas, I'm the one. But yeah, man, thank you all. Hey, you guys have been great. I appreciate you guys, and I'll be joining you more often now that I got you. So
thank you, Enrique. Night, and thank you for your service. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you for your service.
Yeah, so now I'm gonna spend a few more moments showing the show, and then I'll let folks watch it on their end as well. And I always like to watch some of the podcasts or shows like this to engage or create a conversation. As you could tell, we spent the first hour talking about what we're gonna talk about, but it really got got the stew going. It's almost like I think about when my wife does shrimp, what is this called again? Creole shrimp. I'm trying shrimp and grits. There you go. So she does a roux, and she's stirring that roux for a long time, and you can smell it.
Wait, back up.
not two.
Louisiana one too?
My wife, but she cooks like one from Louisiana. She's from Jacksonville, Florida. She has a sister, and with the A at the end. So needless to say, she could cook good. So yeah, so she'll be doing the thing, and that's the key thing. Just get that roux going. That's the base. So the first hour of the show was us getting the roux going before we put the vegetables and all that in there, and then get that flavor going. Yeah. Oh, trust me.
And then what do you put? Do you put shrimp?
No, I put my butt in the sea and then wait for my wife to put it down. She does. I'm like a good man. How it's done. I just know how it looks like on my plate, and to let you know, the roux is dark. It's not that light color roux. It's that So if anybody's cooks listening to this, that's the key thing. You want it to be dark and rich in flavor. So
yeah, my wife bakes her roux. Actually,
what was that?
Wife bakes her roux.
She
actually bakes it.
Yes. I'm gonna have to get to my wife.
I put in the chat her website, Louisiana.kitchen.
Oh, shit.
Oh, that's great. That's
When you
great.
start talking roux, and that's what I use a lot of cooking analogies when I talk to people, and it grabs them right away. And so it was funny because I'm usually the person that does that. I've never met anybody that. Some people will say a gumbo reference slightly, but they don't talk about the roux.
Yeah, exactly.
That's my thing. It's like the foundation.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
coming out right, Cello. It's going to be dinner with Cello. You, your wife.
Hey, that's a good idea.
You know what?
Go ahead,
You
Mark.
could do somebody.
Ricky
Somebody,
Martin. Go ahead,
can
Ricky
be
Martin.
somebody can be making drinks, cocktails, and then somebody else will be making the roux, and the other one's gonna make whatever the dessert.
No,
So while the conversation goes on, then we can all like.
Tú vas a hacer el sancocho. And sancocho, that's
No,
like
mofongo.
That's gumbo. Yeah, that's gumbo or stew, Spanish wise.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
that's basically
Yes.
what it is. So yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, my Louisiana kitchen. Let me put that. I'm gonna put
That's great.
in the
I
main.
love the jambalaya, man. Jambalaya.
I'm gonna put that in the main chat right there so people can see
It's
that.
Dot Kitchen.
Oh, Dot Kitchen. Yeah, I pasted it just now, just like that in the live chat right now. Let me see what these guys are talking about right now. Let me see what this guy's saying.
Because Sam, is it simple? If we want to, is it as
Can
simple
you guys
as
hear
if
it?
we want to get in front of we buy it, we just comment on all their posts, or is there further strategy behind that to make it not annoying and kind of add to the conversation?
Yeah, so I guess in my case, I had it quite good because in your case, Will, I've been a huge fan of the show, like I said, for a long time. So it was in my interest because I'm genuinely interested in the content that you put out, as should other sales professionals. I mean, your own personal development. So whether that's podcast, whether that's watching videos, whether that's audio, is going to be a good thing to set in sales. But without going down that obstacle, that's why I was actively interested in the content you're putting out. But if you're actually engaging in people's content that you want to do business with. So whether these are prospects that you've added, in this case, we're talking about LinkedIn. So you've added those as a connection, or whether it's people that have come inbound and you're having a conversation with them and then you've added them on LinkedIn perhaps, and then you start engaging with your content, it keeps you front of mind. So if you're commenting on their post, if you're saying, look, this video you just put out was great. In fact, I talked about this last week to a customer. Have you considered XYZ? It just strikes a conversation, and in my opinion, it's just a great way to keep front of mind throughout the process. For example, I've had deals where people have come inbound, perhaps through our website, and we've had conversations. They've gone cold, but because of the content that I was putting out on LinkedIn, because I was putting out videos daily, I was putting out posts daily, and all different bits and pieces, then they've come back just because they followed the content. In fact, without going down too much of a rabbit hole, there was one deal where I was talking to someone, I think it was on email or perhaps LinkedIn chat, and he asked for a call. So we wanted to discuss a sales project. I had a phone call with him at the time. It would have been a really long day. Mm-hmm. So it's about.
This is I watched the show, and this is going to be quite profound when you guys listen to this. How this opportunity circle back. So take a look at this. And what I'll do is that after he shares this story, then I'll wrap up the show. And then, mind you, the link is, and I'll post the link again in the chat so you guys can continue watching the conversation. So, and then we'll conclude the show, because obviously we're not going to sit here and watch the rest of the show because we spent we spent enough time talking about what we're going to talk about before we actually talked about it. So,
totally awesome.
That's classic cocktails, you know?
Absolutely.
That's what happens when you have a few of these, you know? Well, all right. So yeah, when you hear his story, how this opportunity circle back, it nails exactly why we're talking about this topic. So take a look at this.
I don't know, just before 5 p.m. I'd had a day of it. I'd had a bunch of sales calls. I was starting to get tired. I was getting hungry. I was getting thirsty. Anyway, he said, Sam, can you help me with this project? And it was an okay price sale, but I rushed the sales process. So instead of understanding his world, instead of understanding his needs and objectives for why he'd reached out to me, and if we could help him do business, I rushed it. So I didn't follow a process. I just kind of said, look, this is going to be the price, in this case, maybe $5,000. Do you want to take it or do you want to leave it and part ways as friends? Which is terrible. Don't ever do that. And he said, I need to think about it, which again is a seller's worst nightmare. And I think a week later, he emailed me saying he went with someone else. Anyway, I thought nothing of it, carried on doing my daily content creation as well as my other tasks. About 3-4 months later, Will, he reached out to me. He said, Sam, I'll be honest with you. When we spoke before, I thought you were very rude, and I didn't like it. But since then, from the content you're putting out, I can see you're genuinely passionate about what you do. You're actually giving tips and insights each and every day, and I want to do some business with you. Can we discuss this project? I was like, whoa. So that just shows the power of just being present in people's minds. Even when you think you've royally pissed someone off, they can come back because of what you're putting out each day in and each day out.
Ain't that something? I mean, that's
being authentic, though. Yeah, that's being good at what you do. That's being authentic.
Yeah, go ahead. So what? So that's interesting. And just see, the thing is that all of us are not the same way every single time. Sometimes, like he said, it was at the end of the day, he was ready to check out, and he was like, you know what? It's $5,000. You ready? Here's the paperwork. And he didn't follow the right sales process, whatever process he should have followed to make sure that, that this is a good fit. Because that's how I essentially, initially, when I sit down and talk to somebody, I'm quite candid, and I tell them the goal of today's meeting is to ensure that we are a good fit. This is something I say. This is not a part of our sales process, my company's sales process. There's something that I put into the equation to let them know that I genuinely want to make sure that this is a good fit. There's questions that my company wants me to ask to make sure that the customer is qualified. However, I want to let them know I want to make sure it's a good fit. And there's many things that could play in. It could be cost. I want to make sure that you could afford it. That's one thing. I want to make sure that the service level that you need, we could provide it. Chances are we can, but we may not. Every customer has unique situations. Or what about the reason why they're changing is because they're unhappy with their current company because they're not meeting certain goals or certain expectations. Then when we realize what they want is something that is rudimentary or something that could be done, and based on the questions that I go down with them, I realize that chances are this relationship may not be ideal for me. So then that's why, this is what I'm thinking about. So I want to make sure it's a good fit. So that's the reason why I ask those questions. Now, I'm curious to know, Clark, when it comes down to that, have you had a scenario like what Sam said that, initially he said, hey, this is the price, and they just happen to circle back because either you send them a Christmas card or he saw content? Just curious to know what's your thoughts on that or your experience.
Trying to close on price is always going to be tricky because in all kind of times in my profession, it's going to be something with cost. The cost is out of the budget, but you have a scope, and the two are never aligned, right? Scope and budget never ever aligns. I find that when you are delivering, I guess, the close message, you want to finalize the ROIs, that return on investment. You're not just signing a contract and you're looking to, here's your fee, here's your investment, and here's your return. And when the customer leaves or your client leaves to think about it, they may go with an alternative, but chances are they're going to come back if you nailed all the items, such as, the solve. I have the solve for you. The second thing is I'm the subject matter expertise. And, this is from Nick Nelson. You guys know Nick. He's the brandpreneur. He said something.
I love that dude.
Oh, totally love Nick. I talked to him a lot. So Nick said this. He said, listen, you want to talk about being an expert, or you want to talk about being premium. And he said, premium isn't always the most expensive, but it is the most desired. And that's how you have to look at that close. I've got an ROI I'm going to give you. I am premium. So this price, I'm not going to negotiate against myself. It is what it is, but you will get an ROI. But premium should be the most desired, and it should be a price point.
Mm-hmm. I tell you this much. Anyone that's watching this video knows that I pride myself on the service that I provide. In doing so, I know that our organization, my company, which is the second largest recycling waste company in the nation, we're not the least expensive company out there. However, we pride ourselves on service and quality and meeting our customer expectation. you could read between the lines and understand that we're not cheap based on what I just said. So if that's what you want, then you know that, and as long as you have the budget, then we could talk and see if we're a good fit. I'm not saying that we're a good fit just yet. Let's have a discussion and then see if our goals and what you need to accomplish, we can fulfill. Because I walked away from deals because it could be many things.
Oh yeah,
service. I may not be able to help them, so I like, you know what? I like you. I really want. Maybe we could work together in the future, but I don't think that we could do this. Or you may want to talk to this person or whatever it is. Now at this point, I could gracefully bow out. And if I have an opportunity down the road, great. Because you got to think about this. That person I'm talking to, him or she and I may not have a good fit there. But guess what? He or she might work at a different company and say, you know what? I'm going to call Marcello. He gave it to me straight. I want him to help me here at this company now. You'd be surprised how often that happens.
Oh, yeah. And you know, Chello, the biggest part is that when you leave the table and you didn't close the deal, you've made another networking connection. Mm-hmm. So if I can nurture that throughout, you, Mr. Customer or Mrs. Customer, may refer me to someone else. So I wasn't a great fit for you, but you're at it now, another event, social event, someone's wedding. And you might say, you know what, go call Clark. You know, I think he's going to completely deliver. He was a little bit out of my budget, but give him a call. I think he's going to help you.
Yeah, I'm sure that happens. Now, Martin Pratt, not Ricky Martin, but Martin Pratt. What are your thoughts on what we just saw right now? The guy said, you know, he was not feeling it, and so he just said, "Hey, it's $5,000, sign." And then somehow or another, the person came back around because he saw his content, and he said, "You know what?" He was honest with him. He said, "Hey, you was an a-hole initially, but now I can see that you know your stuff. So I really want to, make a connection." Basically, what he said, the person that I went with or company was garbage. So I can see that you know your stuff. So let's work. Have you ever experienced something to that effect? Like, it didn't work out originally, and then they just happened to come across you, and it's like, okay, let's try this again.
Yeah, I'm a believer in funny story before you get to that, before I answer that question. Mm-hmm. So one of the bloggers in Atlanta from old school blogging from like early 2000, her name is Dryer Buzz. She had a show on WAOK, and she asked me to be on that show with her. It was like 2016, and she used to call me Ricky Martin. And so I would say, well, what my wife was always like, why is she calling you Ricky Martin? And it's my wife's from Louisiana, and they take their nickname seriously. They don't give you some bullshit nickname. So I was like, I have no idea. She called me Ricky Martin. But anyway, I mean, when you call Martin Vasquez Ricky Martin, it's hilarious because I'm thinking, she's like, is he calling you what Dryer Buzz calls you? He's from Atlanta? I was like, yeah, it's not. This is no, he's to Martin Vasquez, not me. But yes and no. I probably have dropped the ball similar to where the guy was talking about web choice, not in a not getting back to the person or completely forgetting about the proposal, just like totally spaced and had going back. Like I'm going back through some messages. 2 days ago, I saw a psychologist who has a great funnel for her community that she's creating around, I think, brain exercises and trying to keep you from putting off dementia. And I was like, they're reminding me of this possible business model that somebody else had asked me to send a proposal for. And so I screenshot all of her social media and emailed that to the woman. And doing that, I'm realizing like we talked back in May, but I was supposed to send her a proposal and I didn't. And apologize for that. And at the same time, we moved. The building we lived in was sold, so we had to move, find another place, and it was this is this year during COVID, so it was kind of crazy. But in regards to that, to answer your question and my point, I wanted to go back to what he said about the price and kind of being just dropping the mic and like take it or leave it, like it's this. I find I have a difficulty with telling people being gentle at that point. I think at that point
you make the presentation on price.
Because it's like, honestly,
what do you mean by that?
Yeah, at the price point, because it's like, I actually, and he probably saying that's not his normal sales routine and his sales model or his playbook that he uses. But I think at a certain point, I think everything happens for a reason. That's my model, is everything happens for a reason. And so that wasn't a time or a season for him to have that customer. Maybe at that point, and hopefully he didn't drop his price. The question is, did he charge the guy the same price, or did he give him a discount? Right?
I'm going to ask Sam. I'm going to ask him that question.
But I think that for what we do, I definitely have a sliding scale, but the price is the price. There's no negotiation. So I unequivocally say, yeah, it's $2,500, or it's and it, even when I look at the person's budget and I think about what they're doing, and I see, and I'll maybe say something that's all the time, probably 90% of the time, I'll give them a really good price. And whenever I do that, they still want to negotiate. Whenever I tell a person, like, basically, F you price, they're like, okay. And it's like, and I definitely don't want to walk around with FU prices. But I think that when you do that, in that heat of the moment that he did it, he was, maybe a little short about how he did it, wasn't gentle, in massage. It works. And in this case, the guy came back 3 months, but he didn't come back and say, hey, I don't want to pay that price. At least that's what was the story. The story was, I don't like the way you talk to me. But you're not hiring me necessarily for the way that I talk to you as a customer. You're hiring me for my knowledge base. And honestly, a lot of the times, this is the crux of it, right? Especially in places like Atlanta, where there's a lot of hustlers, in places like New York. And usually if the person's from a small town, like say Jacksonville, I'm not saying Jacksonville's a small town, but compared to New York and Atlanta.
I understand.
Right. When somebody's from Jacksonville, I'm very honest and very, very, I'm not as so blunt, but they need to hear that you're in a international marketplace. So you're not ready for this international marketplace, and you need to get ready for this unequivocally. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. However, if the person sounds like they're waffling and they're like, I don't even know I should be doing this business, and you see something in that person, or you see something in that vertical, and you're like, listen, you literally are the only person on this platform doing content that talks to caregivers, people who have parents and siblings that they're living in assisted living care, and you are genuinely talking to them, the caregiver, and there's nobody else that I can see in that lane. Stick with it. And here are some tips to, even if you can't afford me, here's some tips to make it, and they'll come back to you usually. But I definitely think that how we talk to our customer at the level that I'm at, and I think the level that the guy in the video is at, there's not that, you really can't be massaging people and being gentle with them, because it's sometimes it helps them get to the next level. Other times it's make it or break it for them, and they're at that fork in the road where they could go kind of keep coasting, get maybe 2% return, 3% return, and feel frustrated, or it's time to get that 20x, or it's time to get that 10x, or it's time to get that at least a 3x.
Yeah, that's a key thing. And mind you, that's when you say that, I think about it resonates with me, because sometimes you have folks and they're like, they want to, like I said, to be massaged. And, I'm sorry to say, sometimes we can identify personality styles. And when you see that personality style, you're like, okay, this is the approach that I want or to take. And you take that approach, and if it works, great. If it doesn't, then you move forward. Mind you, you could just put them in your funnel and just follow up with them whenever you deem it appropriate, but then move on. Mind you, but that comes with experience. But if you don't have that experience, then you're gonna lose some and win some. But so then
I feel like you're talking about this great preschool conversation, like personality, and then experience. It comes with experience, you know. But it's
true.
That's spot on. These are fundamental core values, pillars, root, base, foundational values, whatever buzzword you want to use.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, that's the key thing, because what happens is that's how we make decisions most of the time. I will feel that we make it based on a gut feeling, and it's based on what you experience. And you think about relationships. The reason why we're at the point that we're at in our lives now is based on decisions that we made in previous relationships, personal or professional. And once we saw something and we see that fork in the road, like you said earlier, Martin Pratt, then you know what direction to go, because you're like, okay, this is where it's going to go. So I'm going to go this direction to make sure that either it's successful or I can avoid this scenario, whatever it might be. So now, Senor Ricky Martin, so what's your thoughts on what Sam said? Sam said that, he came, he gave the person $5,000. This is the price, take it or leave it. And then somehow another scenario, he saw his content and he said, you know what? Hey, you're a butthole, but I still want to do business with you. Let's try to, revive the relationship. Have you experienced something like that? Not that you gave him a price and, it didn't work out and then it come back, but just curious to know if you had something similar, or what's your point of view on that?
Yeah, I think that works. Just being straightforward, and then when you're knowledgeable and you know that you have the right service, and then you go like right up front to the customer with what you don't have to sugarcoat it. You don't have to. You can be like that, and even if they don't like it at the beginning, like that happened to that guy, they will come back, because they will see that you are, let's say, the leading guy in the industry. They will see that you are right on the money, and they will come back. That I saw that happen many times with my brother, his company, and then he's like that. My brother is not a personality guy. He will go in, he will just put the cards on the table, and that's it. I'm the best guy. If you don't like it, you'll come back to me, and they walk out. It works sometimes, but at the same time, you have to be very observant. You have to kind of see how what's the feedback you're getting from your customer. And sometimes, if you really want that account, then you have to work it a little bit, but I think it works just being
let me piggyback on what you just said. If you really want that account, this is where I feel that you might make some compromises, which you might come back to bite you. This is my experience. Let's go back to that fork in the road, meaning that, and what I mean compromises, it could be price or concessions, or whatever that means to you. So concessions meaning that they want this process, and even though that process is not included, you're willing to make that concession to get the deal. Now, what that means to you is that you need to continue providing that concession because you gave it to close the deal. Ultimately, it's not what you normally do, but you made a concession. Or a price, then if you're willing to reduce the price, then at this point, when the price goes up, because in my case, I work for a company, I don't own the company. So, like when this logo says, okay, we want the price to be this, I don't really manage that. However, I could influence the price, and they come to me, and I could, I've had emails actually the past week to say, hey, Marcello, this logo did something with the price. Can you help me out? I did. I said, hey, account manager, can you help out this person? What can we do to help them out? I influenced that decision. didn't change the price. I influenced. Whatever happens is between the account manager. But either way, I still looked out for my customer's best interest. Now, I want to go back to what I'm saying. Now, when you say if you really want the deal, what type of concessions or I guess accommodations how far would you go to get the deal, Ricky Martin?
That depends on why do I want that account. Because, for example, sometimes if I have this company as one of my customers and I'm showing it, I know this will bring this other guys where I'm not gonna give them the concession that I gave to them because I really wanted to get them. You know, because so in that type of scenario, then I will make concessions that I will not make with anybody else, but it's an investment pretty much that I'm doing here, but to get that other guy, because then it'll put me on the level that I wanted to be. So that's what I would do.
Yeah, and we call that loss leader. So that's
exactly.
strategy. So you're going to go after a loss leader, then get into either penetrate a tough market where you can't purchase your competitor. I mean, the way to encroach in the market, right? You either go in there strong, lower your prices, or buy out your competitor and buy the market. Loss leader, I like that. I mean, that's a great strategy. But then, you know, if you own a company and you're in, let's just say construction, and this happens all the time, you start to drop your prices. And Chello had a great way of putting it. The customer wants it done like this, and you know that's not going to work. Now you're going to have to just purchase more bonding because you're going to need a performance bond to ensure that you can get the work done, or a price bond to cover your losses, because your 25% that you have for other, you always have that performance in there. You have everything priced out, and then you have, a 15 to 25%, what if category.
Yep.
Once you blow through that and you can't get change orders, you're going to have to bond up. So I think it's all a strategy, but I love what you just said there, Ricky Martin, if I could say that. It's the loss leader. And that's something that every business owner and even large corporations that I work for, we look at it all the time. How can I get into this market? And if I want to penetrate and get into aerospace, I got to get a loss leader, get it on my book, promote it, and start going.
A logo.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, and I can appreciate that. That makes sense. What did you have a thought on that, Mr. Martin Pratt, on what Mr. Ricky Martin's approach about concessions and pricing? Have you find yourself in a scenario that you are willing or have been willing to make that concession or accommodation to get that deal? And it could be any reason. It could be like what Ricky Martin said, that he wanted to get that customer because he wanted to be able to leverage that to get someone else. So just curious to know what's your thoughts on that or your point of view.
That's excellent. I think that he's spot on. I think that he's correct. I have definitely done deals like that, or even change the deal midstream to say, I could tell this is a pain point for the client. They're struggling to pay. So here's a new deal. Let's do this one. And I'm in that process right now, actually. So, I think that if it's the whole thing for me is that if it's a good client, good relationship, then you're open to anything, right? If it's a leverage situation where they have an asset, or they're sitting on, like, one of my deals has about 400,000 email addresses attached to it, and the other one and they also have access to 5, so they have about 900,000 email addresses. So every time I go to do work with that client, I'm reminded why I'm doing this work this way with them, and it's a really interesting process. So yeah, there's always that. I think sometimes if you're working by yourself or working for yourself, there's always a possibility that you're overextending yourself by not getting paid the value prop that you wanted to get paid initially, or seeing, you really need to activate that leverage within, say, 4 weeks Otherwise, then it's devaluing yourself.
No, and you're right. When I think about that, I think about each person on the panel made a good point, and I think about my approach when it comes on to sitting down with a client. I try to find out exactly, like I said earlier, if we're a good fit, and the questions that I ask are not really set in stone, because most of the time I might ask a question, and then based on what they say, I might piggyback on that and ask some follow-up questions that ultimately just cascade, and it just leads me down sometime a rabbit hole, or a rat hole, whatever you want to call it. But then at that point, those questions and information that I get from those questions, I utilize those questions at the end if there's an objection, or to reinforce the presentation or my recommendation. And usually, like what you said, I think you said this more in price. You said sometimes when it comes down to presenting the price, there's either some uncomfortable, there's some trepidations when it pertains to presenting the price. I found that before presenting the price, saying something to the effect like, putting price aside, do you see anything that could prevent from us to do business? So given that said, we already now at this point, if they say X, Y, B, Q, then this is my opportunity to address those objections, answer those questions, make sure that we're a good fit. Mind you, I still haven't presented a price. And at this point, I could still respectfully bow out, because then they'll say, you know what, Marcello, remember that process I talked about? This is really crucial. I said, you know what? I'm glad you reminded me about that. Let me find out first if I could actually fulfill that before we even talk price. Because if we could do that, then if we can, then can we move forward? Yeah, I'm not sure if you noticed this. I've asked closing questions. So then when I do make the presentation at this point, if I get an objection, then I could go back to why we're talking. And then at this point, chances are I've already determined that is within their budget. So then we can move forward. You know what I mean? But then
I find where you are in Atlanta, maybe this is not Atlanta thing. Maybe you're talking to people all across the world, but I do find that the way you're speaking in Atlanta, a lot of folks in Atlanta don't speak that way. They aren't very clear.
Mind you, I'm talking to industrials. You saw earlier. Oh no, you didn't, but you came a little bit later. One of my customers is an operation manager for Scott's. Yes. So we're talking to people that have deep pockets, And what
I was going to say is that your language, your choice of words is, as far as I'm concerned, is somewhat unique in today's hustle mentality, because the people are hustling, so hungry to get a customer or to, and not as hungry to make a human connection. And so when your speech, your language is speaking a language of humanity. It's not speaking a language of necessarily, and Dale Carnegie and all the friends and influencers. You can go back to those type of scenarios, keywords or buttons. But it's still, when you were talking, I was thinking like, how many times have I've been in a room with AT&T or Home Depot down there, and the salesperson that was trying to sell my friend something, was not okay. So what do you think? Do you think this is something you'd be interested in? Can you give me some feedback on where you guys in corporate are standing? It was very, it's very pushy. And then in New York, it's the same thing. DC is a little bit different, but your language reminded me of Houston. Some of the salespeople I know in Houston, they have it's very laid back. It's not at all pressed. And it's like, hey,
that's all of Texas,
right?
We're all laid back. That's all of Texas.
He piped up on that one.
Yeah.
Now, but you know what it is though? Is I I think that is a gift and a curse. Is a gift that I've been in selling or relationships for over 20 years. But it's a curse because sometimes people or organizations might see individuals like me and say he's set in his ways. So he don't want to change. You know, he's not malleable. But, you know, so it depends who you're speaking to. But the thing is that actually I had a conversation with one of the new hires from our company. This person, she worked for PepsiCo for over 20 years. So she just joined our company earlier this year. And the conversation that we had after our meeting was, I was telling her that I love change. And I mean it. I love change because that's the only way that we grow. And we had, you know, an offshoot conversation about what the meeting was about. But long and short of it is that regardless how long I've been doing what I've been doing, it's kind of weird, but I must say that I still approach it like if I just came out of college. And I say that because when you think about people like college graduates, those are the people that companies typically want to hire because they're malleable. They, you know, there's a specific approach, and they're not going to question, well, boss, like someone that's been doing it for 20 years. Well, boss, we did it this way at that company, you know, that kind of thing. Yeah. Or, you know, so I've always been the kind of person that I always see the glass half full. And if you give me a philosophy that you want us to implement, I'm all for it. If it doesn't work, great. But, you know, I'll give you my point of view. Go ahead, Martin Pratt. What's your thought?
No, I was saying you're like that. You're on it like that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm constantly changing. I'm constantly looking for a different way of doing the same thing. Mind you, once I find what works, I keep doing that. However, I keep doing that, right? But
you're present in that process. You're not disconnected.
And I try to find to do other things while still doing what already works. I'm trying to find other ways to do what already works. So then I can add that in my repertoire. So then I got those two things going. Yeah, see, you get where I'm going.
Yeah. You and I think when Martin Pratt mentioned of the way that you approach your sales, your possible
we talked
about it, you know.
See, my dude right here, this guy, Ricky Martin, him and I, we've had conversations, you know. Oh, Ricky, I was down in that area when we talked about down in those companies down South Georgia. I was down there.
Yes.
Yeah, those huge companies. I'm talking about like these, and I'll let you go back to what you wanted to say, Ricky Martin. These facilities that I'm selling, they're as big as 5 football fields. So there's a lot of trash. So go ahead, Ricky Martin. Go ahead. What you
telling you. So no. That definitely that approach in sales. We have talked about it, where the customer sees you as a partner, as an advisor, not as a sales guy. You know, because that goes a long way. Because if at the moment they cannot do something, they will keep you for the next thing they can do.
Yep.
Because they see you as a partner, not as this guy that came here aggressively to close a deal.
They might ask you to partner with their cousin or their niece. So
exactly. So yeah, definitely. What Martin Pratt is exactly how you do things, because you know you like to, you know, we share that mentality of not just like, you know, a big punch sales guy like you see maybe in New York.
Hey, I'm from New York. I know what you're talking about, those, but
I know.
But that's the key thing. Oh my gosh, my dude made a comeback. You guys are you got LinkedIn Live working ethic. Oh, communicate your values in how. There we go. Human to human. Yes. That's something that's not utilized more often. You're right. Daryl Perry with the bow tie, and now
what's up, bow tie man?
Bow tie, man? That's because most people study the psychology of sales is actually quite fascinating. Yeah, I agree. That's exactly. I love, and mind you, it's funny. These kind of discussions I am right now. If it's 10 o'clock right now, but I swear to God, I wish it was 10 a.m. Let's go out and start meeting people. I mean, I feel like I just want to, I get amped up because I love the relationships. I love that. And what else is this is why you should have real conversations once you understand selling and then ditching some of those old tactics. That mix. See, that's exactly what he's talking about. It's just having that right approach is the key thing. And unfortunately, sometimes people just don't have the right approach. So then they just end up just having the wrong direction or for that matter. It's just everything.
They're ingrained in those ABCs. Always be closing. They can't.
Oh my gosh, that's
remember that one, fellow?
Right.
Remember that?
Yes.
Hold on. Do I have it over here? I don't have it here. Let me see. I can show you what I got on the wall. Hold on a second.
Classic book for many years in sales. ABCs. Always be closing. Oh my God, you never turn it off.
Yes.
I got the boiler room over here, and then and I'll see if I can actually. Let me see if I can bring it up here. Bring it up, and let me move this forward here. And look at that. Let me zoom in. Can I get it in there? Oh no, it's back there. I got Wall Street over there on the top.
Oh yeah, that's a classic one too. Yes,
I got Wall Street there from one of those laserdiscs. Yeah, I love watching that for entertainment, but that's where it stays. It's entertainment.
Again, Gary Glenn Ross is another great one too.
That's really how you should interact with customers.
Yeah, that's what Daryl, right? Daryl Perry mentioned about the psychology.
They're right here.
Nice. There was a guy saying how to close a sale with a negative negative response or something like that, because he was saying, and then he made
what do you mean by that? Give me an example.
Yeah, actually, he said, for example, you go and to sell a lady, let's say meat, and then you go out there and say, hey, would you like to buy 5 steaks for me at this price? And there was a no. But then he said, but if I do this for you, you won't have no objection of that, right? So then the person said, no, I have no objection. So he said, you close a sale with their negative answer. So you know what I'm saying? So he said, they say no, but if I do this, you have no objection. So if it's no, then okay. So
that sounds like almost like a concession approach, like what we talked about earlier. If I do this for you, then would you agree to move forward? It sounds like
for that to work, you have to be actively listening. I think that doesn't work when you're a lot of salespeople aren't active listeners. They're horrible at listening. I say they, but like a lot of people don't listen and don't hear the objection, but also the window.
Exactly. Exactly.
So a negative would be like, I can't do this, but I could do it if this is that scenario.
Yeah. I was actually, when I was with my colleague today, I was telling him, even though, and I told him it might be kind of corny, but sometimes it doesn't hurt to restate or paraphrase what you heard to make sure that what you understood, what you heard, and then you can move forward. And in doing so, that also allows you to get a small close or a yes. But then that also lets the customer know that you are listening to them. But in doing that, then you can actually move forward and exactly what they're saying. Then, like you said earlier, it shows that you're listening. But no, that's perfect. I mean,
I agree with you. Listening is huge. But one of the things I always kind of try to bring in is at the end of the whole meeting. We're in a commodity business and I've got a pitch here and you've got a complete platform. If they were charging and I was free, would I win? That's the question.
Mm-hmm.
And if you would win, why? And if it's just on price, I never made my point then. That's the big key right there. If everyone at the table, 5 of us are competing for this bid. And if I said I'm going to do it for 0, why would you choose me? And if it's just on price, I never made my point.
Yeah. And Ricky Martin, it looks like Darryl Perry was talking about what you were saying. This is what this is the approach. Or would you be opposed to X? Is that right?
Exactly. Exactly.
I'm not familiar with that approach.
Darryl could do a master class. I feel. I mean, I haven't seen him in action, but I really feel that Darryl could probably do a master class on, like, you know, it's a methodology and I want to say not Taekwondo, but a methodology and the same. My wife is here; she could say it because we both are students of it. But it's the same martial arts that Bruce Lee did. Jeet Kune Do. With Jeet Kune Do, the person comes at you, and so they're coming at you this way. You grab them as they come, right? And use their velocity. Exactly. I believe, just like seeing Darryl and what he does, how he moderates, like, he's cutthroat. You're nice. Darryl is cutthroat on that live that we do, the Freshly Black. It was like, I think that's great. So now it's on. I'm like, and you don't feel like, you know, no one really like pushes back on Darryl. And then he gets, you know, one of my pet peeves of sometimes moderators is that they get in their thing, but won't let you get in your thing. Darryl rules his live, and he gets in what the F he wants to say.
Yeah,
let you say what you want to say, but Darryl's going to tell you what he's got. But the way he does it is it's not off-putting. It's not very as you know, once you join the clubhouse, you'll see there's a lot of classes on how to host a room, how to moderate. You'll be perfect and fine. Darryl might get little people pissed off when he gets on Clubhouse because they'll be like, well, you shut me down, Darryl. And they're like, hey, it's my room. But my point was, I can see Darryl saying, you know, I can see his movement in that language he just posted. Right. I can see that move that he was doing. And he's very, like, it's just like Bruce Lee. It's almost one motion. And then, so you don't need insurance? And so I see, exactly. I knew it. I could just tell by the way his language that he uses. And we have a private group, and I'm a member of Darryl's private group. And there'll be, when you have a group, you know, you have one, two idiots. And whenever I bring that up, he's like, don't worry about it. Got it.
Yeah.
And there's no public blow up. I'm not that person. I'll be like, get the fuck out of here. You know, I just think I can't. But Darryl, smooth with it, laid back.
I mean, he's the guy with the bow tie, so that's you have to be. If you're wearing a bow tie and that's your moniker, you have to be cool with it. You got to live up to that persona. You can't let them see you sweat. You know. Or
the other side of that is that he used to be FOI with Nation Islam. So I don't know.
Hey, you don't know. Oh boy. That could be
probably not with that hair.
He'd be hiding in plain sight.
Right, exactly. And a lot of old school brothers from the 70s can do that. I had one of my mentors was at the same mosque with Malcolm X. A really great guy in radio, Brother Leroy. That's what we call him in New York. And the best cake, if you ever go to Harlem, you got to go to his daughter's cake stores. They're called Make My Cake. The best cake you'll taste in New York, better than Junior's. Maybe not the cheesecake, but her cakes are really delicious. Anyway, Brother Leroy wears a bow tie, almost has hair like Darryl, real cool, laid back. You think he's just so nice and everything. And I was on the corner with him one day. You know, we're on 125th Street, people walking by saying stuff. And he grabbed my arm because the guy was just pushing down the street and just grabbed my arm, pushed me away, and said, "Brother, what are you doing?" And I was like, I had never seen this. And he's a senior. I had never seen, but you know, people that come from a certain generation, that they have that, you know, I call it the factory arm. You know, they still have their hands have all kind of veins in them, and you know, and they're solid, you know, and when they speak, their voice projects, you know, it's like, but that's also that training in the Nation of Islam. So when I see Darryl and I see the bow tie, sometimes I think, I wonder if he was FOI at one point, because he has that, you know, demeanor. Hey, how's it good?
They just flip on you just like that. Mm-hmm.
Don't get it twisted.
No,
Yeah.
I can really. I just told to what Daryl said. He hates pushy people. I could definitely relate to that. And he not like what you just said. He's like ha ha ha. He just flip it up on you. All right, so we listen. This was an epic discussion, and you guys, I would definitely recommend you guys to watch that podcast. I'll put a link to it again here.
You definitely got to ask him. Did he drop the price when you're connected to him? So
yeah, I want to hear that.
I'm curious to know ultimately how it ended up, because that's the. Chances are I believe he wouldn't, but still, I'm curious to know what happened at that point, because you would have to think about like, okay, why did the person come back to go with him? I mean, chances are the price he could just sign up on that, sign up at whatever price he had then and just continue. But I'm just curious to know. I'm going to ask him because I'm connected with him on LinkedIn. Now, from the bottom up, and I want to ask Ricky Martin. Ricky Martin, let folks know what you are up to, what you're doing, and if you have any particular promotions, or if you have any promotions to make sure people could make it through 2021. This is hard out there for a LinkedIn creator, so you need to have a bulletproof vest.
It's hard out here for everybody.
Yeah. So curious to know, tell folks how to connect with you, and if you have anything. Oh, hold on a second. Let's see what this fool said. This is my best dog work ever. Yeah. His dog. I love it. Hey, we got you, dude. We got you.
Hey, Daryl, you need to have a ballistic resistant
while he's walking the dog, right?
Yeah, while you're walking the dog. So call me.
So go ahead, tell folks where else they can connect with you, and and the website or anything else that you haven't talked about as of yet.
Oh yeah, definitely. For right now, we're pushing hard the language service since the demand has increased due to COVID, and then they can reach me at www.oneworldlanguageservice.com. Or they can call me at the 877-304-0786 extension 403, and you can talk directly to me. So we have our own platform. We can use Zoom for video conferencing or communication, but we have our own platform, and very reliable. We have over 60 different languages that we offer to our customers. So you can contact me for that on the website or the phone number that I gave you, or on LinkedIn. And the bulletproof oneworldoutdoorgear.com, and then you can see the variety of products that we have. I got my new baby barking here. So that's what I have right now.
Say the website again, Ricky Martin, because you did to the dog, you went down a little bit.
I'm sorry.
Say the website again.
Oh, the website is One World. For the ballistic resistant, oneworldoutdoorgear.com.
Okay, thank you, sir. And while I go to my dude Clark, put a link to your website in the public chat, please. So talk to me, Clark. So now, outside of having kids multiply behind you every half an hour, because if you guys watch the replay,
oh my god,
around 8 o'clock he had one. Next thing you know, there was two, and then I was thinking there's gonna be 3 or 4 popping up.
Oh yeah,
and they're little ones. They're not.
I know.
They're not the teenagers.
No, I've got a 10-year-old, and come here, Junior. Here, you can get in. You guys have been trying. This is Clark Jr. and this is William Paul right here. So
what's up, Clark? What's up, William?
So these are the guys. This is what kind of keeps me definitely grounded and going every day. Awesome. This is what we do. So you listen. I would just love for everybody to continue to support Coffee with Clark. I do a podcast that comes out on LinkedIn every single week, different topics. But communicate and engage with me on LinkedIn. That's where I do everything at. So whether you're looking for some consulting, you have a new contract, and you want to start an ERP implementation or CFO role you're looking to fill, I'm the guy for you. The triple G, good gut guy. But most importantly, just engage a lot with me on LinkedIn. I'm here for you. And, love family, love sports. And I do coach baseball as well. So looking forward to this meeting. Yeah, I coach this guy here. He's definitely someone to watch out for later. He can take it from third base, coming right across the diamond with extreme accuracy. Whoa. And pitching has really been phenomenal. So looking for good things to come out of him as well.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Congratulations. That really warms my heart. Thank you. That's awesome.
That.
Now, let me ask you this now. I know you say you do consulting.
Yes.
Just curious to know, either you could share with us like maybe the last 3 consulting opportunities that you had, or who's your ideal consulting scenario, whichever you prefer.
Yeah, so I do. I've had a very large, recently, a public company, north of $400 million publicly traded company, where we're looking at process improvement and ERP. These are basically your large accounting system implementations. But I've also been involved with very smaller mom and pop companies where they're looking to scale up. What I do is kind of like, this is a hybrid of what I do. You've got fractional CFOs who are just core accountants, right? Mm-hmm. But I also do the technology side. So that's the language I can talk. So I can look at you from accounting, talk your tech, and get you into the right, what I call the suite. What do you need? Do you need a really robust ERP, or can we piece together some other items? And then it's data mining and data management. A lot of companies have data that can really help them make decisions, but you don't know how to gather the data and read the data. So that's where I come in as well. So it's really across that platform. And I'm currently involved with trying to get an equity raise. So please, direct message me there. We got a great opportunity for an agricultural tech firm that we're looking to do a raise for. So there's just a lot going on right now in the market. But definitely, I'm the guy to come to for a lot of these business aspects, just core CFO, technology, debt and equity restructure as well.
That's awesome, man. And see, that's
we got to do a separate show on equity raises. And actually,
I'm geeked up.
You're going to get.
Say.
So here's the deal, guys. You're going to, each one of you. So we're going to start off with Marcello, and he's going to get an invite to Clubhouse. Then Marcello's going to give Ricky, and then Ricky you give to Clark. Well, you get one invite. Now Marcello might be a gangster, so I don't know. He might get 2 invites. But my point is, once the app decides how many people in your network are already on, and they give you invites based on if you have a huge network that's already on, you might get 3 or 4 invites versus 1. But let's all 4 of us get on there.
You let it scan your contacts,
right?
I get it.
And that Clubhouse, Clark is one of those places. Like I said last night, there was a 4-hour conversation with one VC. I think right now there's a conversation being had now with about 3 or 6 smaller VCs. And so we could create our own platform. Not platform, but they call it a room, and have that same conversation about what is the best equity, form of equity raise. Oh, wait, Clark is already on it? Okay, cool.
I'm waiting. I reserved for me. I'm waiting right now.
Marcello will get it tonight. Make sure as soon as Marcello signs in, you send it to Ricky. Ricky send it to Clark, or whoever you guys want to work it out.
I will.
But so anyway, the reason I said that was because I think the value add from this conversation, Clark, and that you brought that up, is that's one of my curiosity. I know that the amount you can raise was up recently to 5 million, I believe.
You get all kinds of ways which to structure your equity. You can do debt and equity together. We can have I love to talk about that. That's like baseball.
Right. But that's the thing our community doesn't know. And so I think that the Hispanic community, the Black community, we have to have these conversations.
I don't think you have to qualify because
okay.
Not the listening community.
Right on, Joe. Good job.
Yeah. I know, and that makes sense. Clark, that's awesome. And you know what? I appreciate you sharing what you're working, but love for us to, there's no immediate rush because we're already talking here casually and even offline, but love to see if we could work together in the future as well.
Oh yeah.
So we could probably continue doing coffee with Chello, cocktails with Chello, and then from there, then how that goes, we can explore, like how I did with Tony Alexander. And we started doing a couple of segments, and then from there, we can spin that off. So let me know.
Yeah, I do it. I love being part of. I laughed a little bit here. I was on the bench for a long time, guys, and just participating with them. But there's a warming about Chello that I enjoy. And if I can say one thing about Chello, he said it in a descriptive when he was talking about a client, that he wasn't in the elevator business, but you helped them fix their elevator.
Yeah,
right.
That was a branding moment.
That's classic Marcello.
Yeah, it was a branding moment. I really mean this. Everyone goes to an interview. I'm going to go above and beyond, right? I'm going to give 110%. I'm your guy. I can do whatever. But you, in a very casual way, Chello, that I'm your guy for anything, and you just casually say, "Yeah, I really wanted to help him get this elevator fixed." And by the way, it was interesting for me to understand how this works. That Chello was kind of a turning point for me. I said, look at this guy. He reminds me a lot of me. I love that part. So keep doing what you're going to do.
Thank you.
Yeah, we will definitely partner and do some stuff. But I love the program. I love the show. Because of that moment, that was a game changer for me.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I have no problem allowing myself to be vulnerable. And I've noticed that, I'm old enough to know that that's always been a challenge for a lot of, especially men. I don't care if you're black, white, Indian, or Latino, men in general are, historically, I feel that we're challenged with being vulnerable or allowing ourselves to be invulnerable. And if we could do that in a professional setting, it really resonate with customers, even if, if it's not a good fit initially, but it becomes memorable and so much so even remarkable. So when, like what you said earlier, Martin Pratt, they'll say, "Oh, we may not be able to work for whatever reason because I couldn't afford that person, or it didn't work out in this scenario, but you may want to reach out to Marcello because I'm sure he could help you with this." So now, Martin, so I know that you're the clubhouse bandit. You're the connector,
I like that.
And the facilitator of invites for clubhouse. So thank you very much. I'll send you my telephone number via LinkedIn Messenger. But now, outside of that, what else is going on? Because I know that you joined recently a company. We talked about that offline. We talked about
inclusion. Yeah, I need to.
Outside of that, what else you got going on that you like to share with folks, and how you help people either here on LinkedIn and even offline? Can you let folks know about that?
Inclusion is inclusion.co. It's a great company that does remote work jobs, and so it's just really a jobs board for remote workers, predominantly for Black and Hispanic workers, and not just techies. So that I'm really proud of what kind of work we're doing over there with the CEO, Jabril. And he built out a learning platform similar to Teachable or Thinkific. So there's going to be a component to is just not just how do I get this job, but also a whether it's coding or whether it's each one teach one, or even one of his pet peeves is that you can't necessarily find specific topics for different, whether it's cloud engineering or even what you guys are talking about here. I mean, how do you? There's a lot of sales jobs out there, and when you go to U Academy, I think Masterclass might have somebody, but there's very few people of color talking about sales in the way we just talked about it. How are you doing B2B sales? And I like literally, I'd never heard of this podcast until you sent it to me. And I was also trying to figure out why are we doing this? And it didn't resonate. I mean, Cocktails with Chello is great. I don't care, drink with you all the time. But this topic, I was like, huh? And then now after doing it, I'm like, oh, this is actually, and this is one of those topics that could go to that learning platform to help people become a better salesperson or even just break it into sales, because seems like that's going to be, obviously, we're not going to be back in person. So you're going to have these remote sales jobs. And this topic is one of those topics that could be on the learning platform. And it's a free, everything about inclusion is free for the person looking for a job. And I think we've had pretty good success so far with corporate clients filling jobs. So I came on to widen the reach and help penetrate deeper into specific markets to make sure we get the talent that we need. And outside of that, I'm just chilling. Found out my wife is pregnant. This is our third thing. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you. This is hopefully 3 is a charm. We had 2 miscarriages before, so and it was down there in Atlanta actually. And so just being real cautious and keeping the fingers crossed, get past the first trimester and see what happens. But outside of that, just trying to stay mentally sharp in this really stressful time of being triggered every day, daily basis by different subject matters, and definitely supporting. I have a lot of friends that are down in Atlanta now for the Senate race. And so trying to be a digital support to everybody down there, man, help get the word out. That's about it.
Wow, man. Amen. Congratulations. That's awesome. Thank you very much man, this is like a vulnerable panel right here. We all vulnerable. And then we got Ricky Martin to protect us with the body gear. So, we're fine. We could be vulnerable because he's going to protect us.
Absolutely.
Wow. This is epic. I can't, mind you, it's not going to be our classic 4-hour Cocktails with Chello show, but it's either way, the content was outstanding. And mind you, I'm glad that you were introduced to this podcast, Martin Pratt, because the stuff that he talks about, obviously is sales related. However, if you subscribe to it, he has various guests, and the topic could range anywhere from CFO, CEO, like that could resonate with Clark, but it could be something as simple as the everyday salesperson, or like what you're talking about, Martin, about recruitment and hiring. It could talk about how to make sure that you are, an asset for an organization. Right. What are the things you need to do differently? So the content that he speaks to, William does, some of the stuff you could probably repurpose it like we did today, or share it with people that are looking for work and say, hey, look at this guy, or follow this guy, or look at this show. It might help you prepare for the interview, that kind of stuff. So I definitely recommend you guys to connect with him, and also Sam as well. So guys, epic. Thank you very much for joining me. I can't thank you enough. It's Ricky Martin, Clark White, Martin Pratt. You guys hung in there for 2 hours and 58 seconds. I mean, it's we did pretty good. I mean, I think about, we spent an hour talking about what we're going to talk about, and then the last 2 hours we actually talked about what we meant to talk about. So it was epic. So thank you very much for hanging in there with me for Cocktails with Chello. And now I got to ask you before I leave, what were you drinking over there, Mr. Martin Pratt? It looked like water, but
it's just so in Philly we have this brand called Polar. Instead of Poland Springs, Polar's seltzer water. It's a really good brand.
Because I know sometimes in different stores they'll have like seltzer water, but they'll have it flavored.
Right. This is orange vanilla.
Polar is originated from Venezuela.
Oh, wow, that's what's up. That is awesome.
Yeah. Polar. They had beer. They started with beer. Like that was the local beer, Cerveza Polar, and then now they came up with the water and the seltzer water and all that stuff.
Look at this. See?
That is awesome.
Yeah,
that is awesome.
There it is.
Yeah, because I got to talk to you, Martin. We have a show that we're starting tomorrow called Latin Times on Clubhouse. Okay. It's a friend of mine here in Philly. He's Fernando Mendez. He was the editor for El Sol, one of the oldest Hispanic newspapers here in Miami.
You know him, Ricky?
No, I know El Sol. It was a radio station as well too.
Yes, it was.
Yes.
So we want to do a bilingual show. We used to do a bilingual show on the air here, and we want to bring that over to Clubhouse.
Sure.
And so, like talking, he's from Colombia, so love to have you come on and talk about Venezuela, whatever or people back home, whatever it is. Because I think also the thing that we don't do well is we don't show Black and brown people talking about back home and whatever the culture is.
Oh, okay, good. No, definitely.
That's
Sure.
awesome. Okay, that's fantastic. I mean, who would have thought that we would cascade into that? And mind you, I managed to fill in another 2 minutes, so then I'm officially in 3 hours. So that's awesome.
We break the record, but we
No,
still have
the
a
record
record
was
to
like
break.
3 hours and 47 minutes. So we're not gonna.
Yeah, no, we're not gonna do that tonight.
No,
I gotta eat.
We're not gonna do that.
Hey, but Chello, didn't I tell you the show is so free flowing? This
it is very
phenomenal. I love it. There's no orders here. You know, if we overproduce this show, you have to cram it into 30 minutes. This is the beauty of what you do, Chello.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I can't thank you enough. Thank you very much for joining me this week, and I'm curious to know what I'm going to be talking about next week. So I'll keep everyone posted. Thank you very much for joining me. You guys have a wonderful evening. Take care. Thank you very much for.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. Take care, guys.
Text me a number.
Take care, guys.